Okie dokie.
This week, the A-level results were released and we find out why they are so named, principally because everyone gets an A. This is not because the exams have got easier. This is not because the marking has become more lax. It isn't because Britain has been dumbed down to the level of earwax. It's because British youngsters are now more intelligent and hard-working than any children in this nation's history. This week, crazy Russian Premier Vlad the Insaner stripped off to the waist and went fishing with a close personal friend. They went out to the wilderness and hiked and camped, but mostly camped. They took along a cameraman to take holiday snaps, so they'll always have something there to remind them. They probably swapped shirts, and amid all this male bonding, they plan to return to the Cold War with the resumption of nuclear flights patrolling the world and more missiles pointing at us. Two men in a tent stripped to the waist and talking of rockets and the big one, calling Dr. Freud. And you don't need to be a psychoanalyst to figure out Roy Keane's problem. The Irish charmer is now manager of a football team in somewhere called Sunderland. He's having trouble trying to get big-name footballers to join his merry gang because he says their wives and girlfriends don't like the shops there. This can't be true. Their branch of Poundland is second to none, and as for their Netto, well, it makes Harrods look like the Shepherd's Bush Market. No, fear of bad shopping is not what's keeping them away, but it might be because they don't want to be underling to a boss who's spent most of his career acting like an angry, snarling attack dog. Hey, Roy, have you seen you? I'll send him some pictures in the post. Hey, Lube.
Hey, Nick.
You've been on holiday.
I know.
How was it? Where'd you go?
Well, it was a bit beside the seaside, yeah.
Really? Where?
Norfolk. North Norfolk.
North Norfolk.
Yeah.
That sounds cheap.
Well, it was actually. It was staying at, with my parents, so it was. But it was very
not
nice.
A holiday? With your parents? That sounds more like, well, it sounds like a night. Not that I know your parents, just parents in general. It's not a holiday, it's a living hell, isn't it?
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, I get on very well with my parents, so it doesn't feel awkward when we go on holiday.
Oh, how delightfully middle class of you.
So, it was the four of us and the two dogs, so it was very enjoyable.
Oh, right, it sounds like a living hell.
Well, that's not a kind thing to say. But we all have different ideas of what makes a good holiday.
Yes, that's right. Some of us like to have, fun. So what does one do in Norfolk on their jollies?
Well, we did go beside the sea a couple of times.
Yeah, how was it? Grey, I bet. Flecked with brown foam. And I don't like brown.
No, it wasn't, you know. The beaches in North Norfolk are actually terribly nice. They're quite clean. I mean, obviously, there was no paddling on my behalf.
No, I bet they weren't contaminated by people, either.
No, it was quite people-free. We got there and the weather was lovely, actually.
Oh,
so
yeah, bound to be.
Well, it was that hot spell
Snowing,
just coming
was
to
it?
an end.
Oh,
So that was quite nice.
Well, 2 days we had. Yeah, that was great. Oh, I came here tonight, I was looking out the window, minding my own affairs. And outside it looked like winter.
It does look absolutely awful out there, doesn't it? I can't believe it. It was quite okay this morning. I even considered putting the washing out, but then changed my mind as I knew it would be a foolish decision.
Yeah, because you live in an inner-city sink estate, they'd probably get nicked.
Yeah, pinch my undies.
Yeah.
Not that they're worth pinching.
They could use them as a dust cover for their car.
Yeah, maybe. Thanks. You mean just for one of their little windows at the side?
That was an awful thing to say, but it just occurred to me and I had to say it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, you haven't said anything nice to me yet.
Luce,
You're knocking my holiday.
It's so great to have you back.
Oh, and I listened to you on my way back from
really
Norfolk,
mean
too.
That. Blimey, you didn't have a holiday at all.
Well, I did. I enjoyed listening on the way back. It's quite funny to listen to something that you're normally...
You were checking up on who was ever sitting in, weren't you?
Of course, yeah.
Checking to see if I'd fallen apart without you.
Actually, you sounded a lot funnier without me.
Don't say that.
Well, he and Helen had me in stitches.
Oh. Are you sure it was my show?
Yeah, definitely.
Norfolk.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even, it's not even on my radar. I
Isn't
haven't even
it? Oh,
considered
you
it.
should go. It's
I
very
would go
nice.
the other way, down to Cornwall.
Would you?
Yeah.
But, you know, actually, Norfolk often gets a lot of sun and is quite warm. A lot warmer, no, but a lot warmer than a lot of the rest of the country. It seems to kind of just stick out and get a bit more.
It's a ridiculous thing to say. But a few miles over there is going to have exactly the same weather as we do here.
Apparently not.
You daft talk some rubbish,
The
dear.
Norfolkians claim to have a weather all of their own there.
I bet you couldn't understand a word they were saying. How do they speak?
Well, it's not that different to us. It's just sort of...
Lucy, everyone speaks different to you because you have received pronunciation. You talk like you make the Queen sound like an oik. You do.
I do not. I'm not that posh.
That was a compliment, I think.
She says, and I can understand I bet not one single call that we get tonight, if indeed we do get a call tonight, will speak as exquisite as you do. I can hear every single thing you say. Most of the calls we get, you need a translator as we go along. Some people more than others.
But the trouble is, but you pronounce all your words nicely too.
Yeah.
So if you mess up, as such as I am now, and don't pronounce a T at the end of a word, it's very obvious.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Stands out more.
Always pronounce your T's.
Be polite!
Not that it makes any difference these days. I swear I'm the only polite person left in the whole wide world. I hold doors open for people, and I let people through. Mostly it's fear of being stabbed and shot. Because every time I come back home alive, I'm amazed.
Yeah, well, I think it's nice to hold the door open.
Yeah,
for
so do
people.
I. I came out of my squalid flat the other day, and there was 3 people crossing the road, laden down with shopping bags. 1 bloke and 2 women. They'd all go out the same car, and the bloke crossed the road first, and so the women were about 10 yards behind.
Yeah.
I was coming out at the time, and I saw their predicament that they had both hands full, all 3 of them, of shopping. So I held the door open for the chap, who just breezed by me and didn't say a word.
Really?
He breezed by me and then left me with the... if I were him, I would have said thank you and then took the door and held it for
next
them,
time, yeah.
right? But no, so he left me with the predicament of either leaving and letting the door slam, not in their face, because they were 10 yards away, so it wouldn't have been a ridiculously rude thing to do, but still it would have left them massively inconvenienced.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'll just have to stand here like a doorman. And it takes...
So then it went the other way.
It seemed to take forever for them to get here. I mean, I was holding the door for maybe a total of half a minute, which doesn't sound very long, but in
That is
reality,
quite a long time,
it's a
yeah.
hell of a long time. Yeah, and they just went by like it was my job. I
You
just
should have
couldn't
stood
believe
there.
it.
Come along, come along.
I just wanted to. I mean, the things you see when you haven't got your gun. I just wanted to start spraying bullets around the lobby, but no one's got any manners anymore.
No, well, and often some people get a bit funny if you open the door for them. They sort of think, why are you doing that? Just, leave me to my own devices, I feel. Sort of like you're almost nosing in on them.
Well, that's a ridiculous position to hold. I mean, what is
know.
that? Do you mean that women don't like it because it's sort of
don't
like an
know.
old-fashioned thing, and we're equal now? All that rubbish. Well, it's got nothing to do with women. It's just polite, innit?
Be polite!
I think it's a nice thing to do. I don't know that I think women particularly, but I just think people these days, you just want to go... I notice a lot of people just want to go through a door, get on with it themselves. They don't want to look around anyone about them. They just want to do it themselves and, as if no one else exists almost. It's a very strange thing to do, isn't it?
Well, I know that in a city, that when everyone's piled on top of each other, not literally, you'd have to go to Amsterdam for that. But when everyone's really cramped in and closed in, we want to withdraw within ourselves. Like if you're walking down the street, you don't say hello to someone in the same way that if you're walking down a country lane, you'd say hello to someone, because it would seem odd if you're the only person on the lane and you don't acknowledge each other in some way. And that's just to establish whether or not they're going to kill you. Isn't it? Because that's basically what it is. That's what the handshake is. It's like, do you have any weapons in your hand? That's what that is. As is, hello, morning, morning. I've probably heard that a lot in Norfolk, morning, like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
they all say good morning there.
Morning, yeah, of course they do, yeah, because...
But I like that.
But yes, but if you're strangers and you're the only people there and you're passing, it would seem odd not to,
Yeah.
because you haven't established whether or not you're going to attack each other or not. And you can do that in what amounts to a grunt. Like that. In town, however, you pass by so many people that you can't do that anymore. You'd, in fact, seem like a nutter if you started saying hello to people as they passed you on the street.
I did it, actually, when I came back, because I got used to doing it in Norfolk. I then walked down my own street, and I knew it was someone who regularly passed up and down the road walking their dog. I just said, oh, hello. And they just looked at me like I was barking.
Yeah. You and your dog.
And then I thought, oh no, why he now is thinking, why is she saying hello?
But you said hello to him in the area of London that you live in. He was probably thinking, hello. He's probably thinking, maybe she's brought her pole with her.
Oh dear. Oh, that really backfired, didn't it? Well, anyway, regardless, he looked at me like I was mad. And,
yeah, well, I can imagine.
And then
yeah.
I wished I'd never said anything at all.
No, quite. Well, you used to live in a place that was much like Norfolk. Little Tweety birds and in the sugar trees, and a little cottage made of gingerbread. Oh, talk about idyllic. Little bunny rabbits hopping over the bright green lawn. People giving you a cheery hi hello as they passed past your white picket fence. These days, of course, she lives in an inner city sink estate with an abattoir across the road.
Dear, dear. Just gets
a brace
worse.
of prostitutes upstairs, hot and cold running rat urine in the kitchen. How'd you like the new flat so far, Luce?
I hate it! Are you looking to buy... Let's get back to it.
Here is one in St Albans. Ricky! Hey, Ricky.
I'm going to take the I off the end, I think.
Ricky.
It'll be Rick.
Ricky.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. Sounds like you're talking with your head in a bucket.
Sorry, I'll try again. How's that, any better?
Are we on speakerphone?
Yes, with the speakerphone.
Oh, take us off speakerphone.
It's not actually on the speakerphone bit. I'm talking to you hand to mouth, so to speak.
All right. So what's up, Ricky?
Not good.
Pardon?
The reception not good.
Well, let's press on, shall we?
Okay, hang on a sec. Is that any better?
Not really, no. How can we help, Ricky?
Well, you're talking about people's manners.
Yeah.
I think people are most insulting these days.
Yeah, you just
There
wait.
to be any manners left anywhere. People interrupt you whilst you're talking.
Do they?
They say your phone's absolute rubbish. And
Yeah, I know, nightmare.
No, it is terrible. But I did have one major surprise the other day, talking of manners.
Yeah.
I was coming out the chemist, and I observed a lady coming, well, I assume it was a lady coming through the door the other, well, about to come through the door the other way.
It's so difficult to tell these days, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
So I held
What with their
the door
unisex hairdressers and everything.
open. Quite. I held the door open to this
Person.
and it was one of the,
Spice Girls.
no, it was one of the ladies that wear the full Islamic dress.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they call it, but just see the two eyes. And I said, she said, thank you. And I said, you're most welcome. And she actually said, thank you. And you know, that's the first time anybody has ever said thank you for holding the door open for a long, long time. And I was so surprised. Now, how about that?
Right, amazing. It was probably Osama bin Laden, and he was going in there for bleach.
Well, in vast quantities.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
I'll have 56 barrels of bleach, please. It's for my personal use.
Serious lack of manners, though. I find that in supermarkets as well. Often give way to larger oncoming traffic, shall we say? But no, don't get any recognition. You don't even get a smile or, the raise of an eyebrow.
I know. No wonder people are being killed left, right and centre. It's true. What happened to manners? Good old-fashioned manners.
Well,
Let's
I
get
think
back to that, shall we?
In the major supermarkets, they should have traffic lights. And traffic should proceed as if it's on the high road. Stick to the left-hand side to indicate when you wish to overtake. I think it'd go down a lot better.
Right, well, you've obviously given it a lot of thought. I'll pass it on, all right, to Mr. Sainsbury or Sheikh, whoever is going to be owning it from this point on. All right, thanks a lot, Ricky.
Yeah, thank you then.
Try and get yourself a new phone, all right.
Yes, I will.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da.
Bye.
Yeah, talking of holidays, by the way, do you know how much holiday the MPs get? It's actually quite staggering, because they're on holiday now, right? Great Britain, as a firm, as a company, lost something like 10% of its value in a couple of days last week. It's an absolutely staggering amount of money that got wiped off the share value of the FTSE, which is basically how much we're worth as a nation. We dropped 10%. It's like £180 billion. And did any of them come back? Did any of them think, oh, blimey, this is a bit, we better have a little look into this, you know, he being an expert and all. Having spent the last 10 years running the economy, which I'm sure is not any kind of job at all, because the world economies go up and down, irrespective of what the actual individual governments do. We're either on a great world, and there my knowledge of economic terminology dries right up. But it's either a bear market or a bull market. I can't remember which is which.
I couldn't tell you.
No. But anyway, either everyone's doing great, in which case we just go along in their wake, or everyone's doing disastrously badly, in which case we do too. And what governments can do to fiddle about with it is just almost completely negligible. So to take credit for it is, well, it's just ludicrous, isn't it? Particularly as he gave up the ability to set interest rates and gave it over to the Bank of England, which was a smart move, because he couldn't. He would take all of the credit for doing it, and none of the brickbats if it all went wrong.
Of course.
Yeah, just farm that stuff out. But you'd think that, you know, a man who is supposedly an expert in these affairs would think, well, maybe I better come back from my holidays. He's still on holiday, right?
Yeah.
He just came back to have his picture taken when there was like a giant flood. Am I right?
Well, yeah, made the right appearances, you know.
Ministers and MPs broke up Thursday recently for their... Guess how many weeks they get for a summer holiday?
4?
10.
More than schools get.
10 weeks.
That is...
They get
That's
about a month
absolutely
for Christmas as well.
staggering. 10 weeks summer holiday.
Good grief.
In addition to the recess, which ends on October the 8th, they're not going to be back till October the 8th, which means that the X Factor will be, all that newspapers will be reporting now, red top tabloids, will only have stories about the X Factor, and the deluge has started, by the way. Their publicity machine has gone into overdrive already, and the programme's was the first one's tonight, right? Oh, there'll be pretend falling outs left, right and centre. Simon won't be talking to whoever that woman is, and the women won't be talking to each other, and, oh, blimey. I'm sure they've got it all mapped out, the weekly stories that they're going to be giving us for the entire series. Because,
Sharon and Louis.
yeah, it's a giant fake, just like everything else on TV is. You know, television is eating itself up from the inside, all this thing about fakery, just because they pretended that the Queen was storming out in a huff, when, as I've said many times, she was just storming in a huff. Same thing. She was still in a bad mood. She was storming. She was going in or out. What difference does it make? I want to see that programme, by the way, and the Queen has made it absolutely clear that she doesn't want anybody to see it. Well, does she pay her TV licence? I very much doubt it.
Do you think she'll write points of view?
She probably gets a comp, right? So, I don't think you've got anything to say on the matter, Your Majesty. You let the cameras in, and if anybody else had let the cameras in, and they suddenly decided afterwards, oh, maybe I'm not being shown in the best light, do you think that a TV company would bow to their wishes after the fact and then not show it? Of course not. Stick it on, we all want to watch it. Where was I?
Well...
MP's holiday.
Yes. Oh, 10 weeks.
Yeah, but there was something in between that. Oh, television eating itself up from the inside.
The economy before that. Share prices
I've got to
going.
make notes as I go along.
I've got manners down on the list.
Is that it?
That's it so
Is
far.
that it? I must have talked about 100 different things so far, only 23 minutes into the show. In addition to the recess, which ends on October the 8th, Parliament shuts for 10 days for the school half-term in February. It also has a 19-day break for Christmas, and 17 days for Easter, and 10 for Whitsun. In addition, Fridays are usually kept empty for MPs too, and I'll waggle my fingers in the air to indicate inverted commas, spend time in their constituencies. Yeah, right. Give them an extra day for a long weekend, you mean? Not content with this amount of free time, Tony Blair's government decided that the Commons needed to become more family-friendly with shorter hours to attract more women into the House. I mean, what? To attract more women into the House?
So have we totted the days up in total?
In 2005 to 6, the Commons sat for 208 days. So in other words, for every 2 days, not even 2 days, for every 1 and a bit days they work, they get 1 and a bit days off.
That's incredible.
That is amazing.
They need time to do all those second jobs.
That's just bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't get my head around that. I mean, the country is a business, and these people, either we need them or we don't. Yeah. And it seems like we can get on just fine without them. Everything they touch, and not just them, every government, anything any government touches turns to, well, what's the opposite of gold? I've got a picture of it in my mind.
Me too, I'm not saying the word.
It's London Colney. Hello, Mandy.
Hiya.
Mandy.
Nick.
Mandy.
You haven't played my song.
Oh, I forgot.
I never realized how happy you made me, oh man.
There.
Well, a bit slow off the mark, weren't you?
I know, I'm not thinking.
You're not. And you sound quite happy tonight.
Oh, Happy, that's me.
Yeah.
Your friend Carol McGiffin
Gibbon, yeah.
is going to be, it's either next Saturday or the following one, on Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
What?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder what made her say yes to that gig.
Booze.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I bet that it's really going to be funny.
Well, apparently she, I've talked to her since she did that, and she didn't mention a word to me, probably because she thought that I would quiz her.
Well, I don't know.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant quiz her about, how well she did. You're probably not allowed to say before it goes on the air, right?
Maybe. But I don't know who she was on with. Because there's always two when there's celebrities.
Oh, right. Well, who is as famous as Carol?
Who? It could have been somebody else from Loose Women, maybe? What?
I'm just trying to think of a list of people who are famous, as famous as Carol. And you know what? I've never heard of any of them.
Another loose woman.
Yeah, undoubtedly, yeah.
You could have gone on with her. You wouldn't do it.
So, apparently she stalled on a question on travel.
What?
She's the most travelled person in the whole wide world. Yeah.
She even has a travel clinic on her show.
Does she?
Yeah. Except she's away at the moment.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yes, thank you, Nick. I had a lovely birthday.
No one cares.
Yes, they do.
You had a birthday? Really?
Yes, last Thursday.
What did you get?
Smellies, and I was taking...
Oh, I'm very sorry about that.
Pardon?
That's awful.
No, perfume and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I was taken out for dinner.
Mm-hmm. Anyone you know?
A friend, yeah. Just a platonic male friend.
Did you have sweetbreads?
No. I wouldn't eat them. I heard you going on about that the other night. You
so
didn't eat them,
yummy.
Did you? You didn't.
Yeah, I did. What? I ordered them and I ate them. They were lovely.
What did they taste of?
They tasted of the sauce they came in, really. It was sort of an intense, unctuous, yummy brown. And in this case, I do like brown. Huh?
Have you told Lucy about this?
Lucy, I ate a thing that was lamb. Oh, so juicy.
Yeah,
with sweetbreads. They had to, and I had 3 sweetbreads on my little lamb thing, and they're in its neck. They had to rip the neck out of 3 lambs just to feed me.
Was it definitely in the neck?
Yeah.
Because I heard a lot of debates going on about whether it was the rear end or the
not the rear, the rear end.
Can I say what I thought sweetbreads were?
Well, I thought it was a lamb's.
I thought they were testicles.
Heart.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Were you sure it was the neck in the end?
Well, apparently, yeah. That was the general consensus, yeah, from a lot of people who really didn't know what they were talking about. But, yeah, they had to rip a neck's lamb out for me loose.
I don't think they did that, though, just...
Yeah, they did.
Just for your dinner.
Yeah, I could hear its little bleating in the kitchen.
Oh, stop it now. That's nasty.
Well, that's how they get them. That food that you see in a supermarket that's pre-wrapped, they had to kill animals to get it.
No, I don't believe that's what sweetbreads are.
Well, anyway, it was absolutely delicious.
You should Google it.
Yeah, you'll probably find out that it was a lamb's googles. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, lots of things.
I can't wait to see that, by the way. I'm really looking forward to that. Because I'll be shouting at the TV. Because I haven't watched that programme in a good long while, because I got turned off by you-know-who. The contestants at the end, when they're being hugged by Chris Tarrant, never look comfortable. Have you noticed that?
Well...
Chris Tarrant was all jolly, and he's got his arm around them, and they always look like, get me out of here.
He is very tall.
What's that got to do with it?
Well, so they're kind of basically nesting by his armpit, aren't they, whenever they're doing their goodbye hugs?
Right. Well, I'm sure it doesn't smell.
No, I don't. I'm not implying that he smells, but I just mean it's a very close comfort thing, isn't it, with someone if you don't really know them? And you're there going, oh, thanks.
Because we don't do hugging and joshing really in this country, do we?
No.
I mean, I'm sure that Americans would perhaps get into it, and he's only doing it because the camera's on. I mean, I'm sure he's not all touchy-feely when the cameras are off, and, you know, acting like their best mate. But they really look like their brains are screaming at them to get out of there.
I find it very strange when people are a little bit over-familiar when they meet you.
That's right.
And you don't know them, and I always go to shake someone's hand as a rule of thumb, but some men, and even women, will just assume that they can just kiss you even though they don't know you.
Yeah, I hate
and
that.
I find that really weird. It's like, I've never met you before, why are you trying to kiss me?
Right, well, if it's kissing on the cheek, like, that's okay, but there's always the how many times do you do it thing. Because sometimes it's once, sometimes it's twice. In France, they do it 4 times. Like, half an hour later, you're still kissing them.
I know. And then,
But
of
when
course, there's that horrible thing of, oh, which side?
Yeah. Which side is first? That's
Yeah.
right. And then you bash each other in the
Because
middle
I
of
always
the
think I'm
face.
firmly going to go for the left side first.
I would just like a wave would be all right. Or
Yeah.
I could give you a letter, something like that.
A letter.
A compliment slip.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but yeah, and a shake of the hand. You proffer your hand to someone under the age of 30, and they'll look at it like, what? They won't have any idea what to do with it. It's like, what?
What?
They want you
Do
to
they
throw
do
some
anything?
like hip hop handshapes at them.
Oh,
Yo,
stop it.
they do.
You did that all too well.
I know, yeah.
And too quickly.
Crawley, hello, Richard.
Oh, hi, Nick.
Richard.
You were talking earlier about the, what they reported as being a massive decline in the value of the FTSE.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the FTSE isn't really a benchmark for the health of the UK economy, because the vast bulk of the FTSE, especially the top companies in there, are multinational conglomerates. So in reality, they're more of a benchmark of the world economy. If you're really interested in...
No.
If you're really well,
No.
it's basically the main
You
point.
don't teach economics, do you?
I'm an investor, you could say. Sort of private investor, as well, amateur investor. But they're basically...
So no, then.
All right. The main thing, what I was really going to say was 10% is neither here nor there, because there was a similar drop about a year ago. It made almost as much noise in the press, but within 4 or 5 months it would have recovered. But you don't hear about the recovery. You only ever hear about the decline.
No, you hear about the recovery a lot. And about 70 years ago, there was a similar 10% fall, which was followed by another 10% fall, and another 10% after that. And then most of the falling was out of windows, as people were hurling themselves to the pavement.
Oh, you talk about the 1929
Yeah,
depression.
that's right.
I mean, the thing about the problem with all the negative reporting about sort of, relatively small declines is that people really get scared about investing, in, say, in pensions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and so speaks a man who wants the share price to go back up again, which is what they're all saying. Don't panic, don't take your money out, they're saying. In other words, the subtext of that is, if you take your money out, then we're totally screwed. If people start queuing up to get their money out because they start panicking, because there's no rhyme or reason to any of this, it's just like a herd of animals. They'll charge to the left for no reason whatsoever, and then they'll get spooked and they'll charge back over to the right. And that's what this is all like, because if some people think, oh, blimey, that's bad news, I'll get my money out, and if their friends do it, and if their friends do it, then suddenly, we're all selling our cars for 50p.
What you've just mentioned is a bear market. You're asking what the difference between a bear and a bull is.
Right.
Before. A bear is when everything is going down and everybody's really pessimistic. And bull is the opposite, obviously.
Why do they choose those two animals?
Good question.
Because they're not... Neither has got anything to do with what the market is actually doing when it's called that.
People do say, bullish, don't they?
Yeah.
People are bullish about things.
Like this show.
Yeah.
Or maybe I misheard. Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. That's been a real eye opener. Thanks a lot, Richard. You've explained that perfectly. Thanks a lot, mate. It was almost like having a lesson in economic history.
Boring.
Oh, blimey, so sleepy. Here's Pamela Hayes, or
Hello.
Pamela in Hayes. Hello, Pamela.
Hello.
Pamela.
You spoke of the Queen getting a complimentary TV licence.
Yeah.
When you reach 75, you will have a free TV licence.
What? Even if I've got 500 million quid in the bank?
Exactly. Providing the TV licence is in your name, it's a freebie once you're 75.
Well, that's an outrage.
Oh, don't say that. I filled in my form today.
Yeah, but you haven't. You don't own half of England. You aren't the
No.
richest woman in the country.
True.
Right.
But think how many sets she must have bought.
Yeah, and she should have a licence for each and every one of them.
I suppose she does in the servants' quarters, because that's not under her roof.
Oh, yes, she'll undoubtedly pay for the servants to have one, yeah, because she's such a generous employer. Right.
But I thought you'd like to know.
I did. Okay. Well, that's lovely. And how are you enjoying your TV? Load of old rubbish, right?
Very, very selective viewing.
Yeah, like I said.
Too many repeats.
Yeah, I know. And what's not a repeat is usually tripe, right?
Precisely.
Or it were grand when we were a lad, Pamela, wasn't it?
Excuse me, I was
stuff
never
they
a
had.
lad.
Oh, I bet you were.
I was never a lad.
What, even during the war?
I was
Yes.
14 when it ended,
Oh, right. Well, like I said.
and I was not that advanced.
Well, no one was there but that advanced at 14 in those days. 14 meant 14. Now 14 is like 34, isn't it?
Well, no, I think it's more like 54.
You've stabbed and shot at least 3 people by the time you reach 14 now.
Oh, I know, in my day, you still wore your ankle socks when you went to your first job.
I wear ankle socks now.
Wait, well, you're not a girl.
Well, men wear
Are
socks
you?
too. Well, I don't know. I'll check. I'll check with both hands, Pamela. I'll let you know. All right. Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Ankle socks? I wear ankle socks. What?
No, you
What's an
don't,
ankle
do you?
sock?
Well,
Socks that come over your ankles.
yeah. But,
Well,
no, that
that's all
wouldn't...
socks.
Yeah, but that wouldn't count for men, because you wear trousers.
Yeah.
But Pamela means women used to wear ankle socks with skirts,
Right.
and we used to school.
Right.
So girls would show their, legs. Well, bits of calf.
And now it's shell suits and hoodies.
Yeah, or they wear tights, don't they? With their skirts rolled up high.
With their skirts rolled up. Rolled up.
Rolled up. We used to roll our skirts up. Can roll them up at the top.
Oh, from the top. Oh,
Yeah.
not from the bottom.
No, that wouldn't really
That
work.
wouldn't work, would it? No. Well, you could keep your stash in there. Here is Electric Parade. Hello, Tallulah.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, you.
You?
What?
Mr. Rock and Roll DJ?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what happened to me yesterday? It's out of this world. I mean, it's not really out of this world. It was out of this world from my point of view.
What?
What? Because, have you ever heard about, the new stuff, or do you only know the classic old stuff, rock and roll stuff?
Oh, I know a lot about a lot of things.
Okay, have you ever heard about the band called Arch Enemy?
No.
Okay, doesn't matter. Well, I was on the guest list, to go to the Barfly in Camden.
Oh, that must have been a hard list to get on.
It was okay. Well, I thought I'd prepare myself nicely on going to the internet and have a look where I need to go in the evening.
Yeah, take a quick peek.
Exactly. And I thought I prepared myself. I went on to, what's it called, Google Earth.
Yeah.
I Googled Earth myself on there, and I thought, yes, ready to go. Let's have it on. So I got...
You actually saw yourself on Google Earth. Wow, we can see you from space.
Yeah. So I went there, and to the address that I saw on the internet, the first address that comes up, and, I don't get anywhere. I walk and walk and walk and walk, and, and then I thought, well, I better stop a taxi now, because a taxi will drive me quickly there. And I stopped a taxi, and I nearly thought he would refuse me to take on board, because it would just be 2 minutes to go. And he drove and drove. Basically, the address on the Google, on the internet, was a fake.
You mean to say that there's something that was not accurate that you found on the internet? I find that hard to believe.
What not not on top of the first thing that comes up. Legion completed the wrong direction.
Huh.
And he drove for ages. And you know what we are talking about?
What?
We were talking about LBC. The taxi driver and I, we were talking about LBC and about you and about your rock station and about everything.
Oh, really?
And it was fun. It was expensive, but very funny.
Well, I think we've got something there. We should give everyone a meter, and they should pay for every second that they listen to this show. What do you think, Liz?
No, but he didn't listen to ABC on the radio. I was just asking him, do you listen to the radio? And then, ping pong, it just went on and on and on. And, and it was fun. This guy was it was a brilliant taxi ride. Expensive, but good.
Well, if he gives us a call, we'll put him on at the weekend.
But how come, hi Robbie, how come that this same club can be just,
How can Google Earth get it wrong?
No, not Google Earth. It's just the internet when you put
Internet in
in
general,
Barfly-Compton.
Amazing. And I thought that everything on the World Wide Web was completely and 100% accurate. That's what they say on Wikipedia. I don't know. I'm going to investigate further, Tallulah.
Okay.
But cheers, my dear. All right.
But it's cool.
It is always cool when you call. Thanks a lot, dear. Cheers. Ta-da. Images on Google Earth, by the way. You checked out Google Earth. Have you seen the top of your squalid little flat in Google Earth?
Yes.
Images on Google Earth, the search engine's aerial mapping program, could become a lot more detailed after the company acquired a firm specialising in high-resolution aerial photography, because it's all a bit fuzzy, isn't it? Have you ever tried to look at something that you shouldn't at auto, like Area 51 or,
Oh, no, I haven't tried to do
Buckingham
that.
Palace or anything like that?
No, have you done that?
No.
Oh.
But it sounds like something that I should have done.
I wish I'd
Because
done
I like
that now
nothing
you
better
said
than to
that.
waste giant amounts of time by piddling about on the internet. But now it's going to become a lot more accurate, and so you'll be able to zoom in much further. Yeah, I've seen the top of my little place.
You can change the angle now, can't you?
Yeah,
as
you
well?
go up and down. How they do that, I have no idea.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing. It's incredible. I've
And I
seen
like
my
that you can
parents'
jump-
place, seen their garden furniture on their lawn.
Really? Was that
Yeah.
in the shot?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great.
I've never actually seen a person, though.
No, nor have I. How does that work?
I don't know. Well, you think if you
you'd think
zoom
you'd
down...
see hundreds,
well, if
wouldn't
you think you zoom down into the streets of London or
Oh.
New York or something,
Yeah.
there'd be no end of people.
I haven't. Have you actually Googled, though, Oxford Street? Or...
No.
No. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Right. Well, people
Little
are
peeps,
at home are doing it right now, and it'll be much more entertaining because it'll be much more accurate now. The technology giant has bought a company called Image America, a company that uses its own digital photography system to capture ground-level details as small as, what we're looking at now is...
We're looking at 10 inches.
Imagine buying your...
Dear, you can talk to me. So, did you get up to any shenanigans on your holiday? Were you a disgrace?
Such as?
Well, boozing, puking, that sort of thing, typical
Yeah,
Brits on holiday.
with my parents, getting really, really lashed,
A staggering number. Seriously, you went on holiday with your parents. Didn't you feel like, what's the point? I'm not really on holiday. I'm like, because don't they pick on you all the time? Don't they, introduce themselves and say, I won't say much, but I'll just say this. You've never done anything right. Something like that.
No, my parents don't do that to me. Do you want to get it off your chest? Have you been picked on all your life?
Well, hasn't everyone? Did you pack your goody two shoes?
Oh, stop it. I actually think when you get older, your parents don't become so square and boring anyway.
No, but thanks for playing. The staggering number of Britons caught up in trouble on holiday abroad has recently been revealed in a shock report. 1,300 people were arrested in America last year, and another 1,000 ended up in hospital in Greece. In hospital? 6,000 people had to seek help after losing their passports in Spain, while around 150 were held by the police in Thailand, where I don't think you want to be held by the police.
No.
Meanwhile, research suggests that binge drinking is behind many of the problems. A Foreign Office study called British Behaviour Abroad is set to disclose that almost half of travellers admitted drinking much more on holiday than at home. How about you?
No, actually.
In some party resorts, clinics and hospitals regularly deal with tourists so drunk that they need treatment for alcohol poisoning. Well, it's not funny, but it's kind of funny, isn't it? I mean, people just go berserk when they go on holiday.
But do you think this is younger people who are sort of on the kind of 1830s?
Yeah,
holidays?
quite possibly, yeah. Concern is also growing over areas that until recently have been traditionally trouble-free, such as Eastern Europe. Well, Eastern Europe hasn't exactly been trouble-free, but perhaps it's been trouble-free as far as British
From the
tourists
Brits,
go.
yeah.
Because we've been too scared to go there.
Not anymore.
They've been too busy shooting each other. Youngsters are still heading for booze-fueled sun, sea and sex in the Mediterranean party resorts of Ayia Napa, Magaluf and Faliraki. Low-cost flights and cheap drinks means that places such as the Czech capital Prague and Estonia's Tallinn have become a magnet for British stag and hen bashes. I wonder if they wander around like they do in Blackpool in man nappies and dummies.
Oh dear, I hope not. It's a bad look.
Yeah, especially when you're being tasered by the police, when the nappy comes in handy. Many do not have adequate travel insurance, and embassy and consular staff have to come to their aid. I don't believe that for a second, because in my limited experience, embassy and consular staff aren't remotely interested. It's as though they're there for their own amusement, not for ours. I mean, they won't go out of their way to help you just because you're British.
And certainly not if you've been so foolish as to just get blind drunk.
Well, no. Or if you've been so foolish as to have been in the way of a hurricane, for instance, which has nothing to do with you. They're just like, oh, well, you know.
That is slightly more unhelpful.
Yeah, but they're not helpful at all. I don't think that they're actually there to help us at all. They're there because, I don't know, they're the Prime Minister's mate, or they used to be the Prime Minister's mate, or they were in a good job and they've fallen out of favour, so they get shipped off without actually getting fired to some foreign outpost where they just organise parties for themselves. That's my impression of what actually happens. You know, I mean, what are they actually over there doing? Busting a gut to help us? Of course not. Have you ever had dealings with them? They couldn't care less. That's why I always find it a bit of a joke with the Foreign Office. Oh, we're extremely concerned and working night and day to resolve this problem of the, you know, whatever it might be abroad. No, they're not. A spokesman said many of the problems experienced by British travellers could be prevented. There is a lot that you can do, such as acting responsibly. In other words... Be polite! Be polite! MPs last year called for a service charge of £84 an hour for those who cause their own problems.
Oh, dear. The drinking is extraordinary, isn't it, watching British people drink? Whenever I've seen those programmes, like, you know, when they're in Ayia Napa or whatever... just getting really, really hammered. And that is the purpose of the night, is to get as drunk as you can, be as sick as you can.
Well, you could say that about Newcastle.
Well, I suppose.
Or anywhere where young people hang out. But in other countries, it's worse, because if you order spirits in this country, they have this mean little optic that gives you just enough so that you can smell it. In Spain, on the other hand... you ask for
huge one,
tequila and orange, or whatever it is, and you get a pint of tequila with a couple of ice cubes, and then they show it in orange, and that's it. And the Spanish will sip one of those all night. We, on the other hand, will drink it like it's water, because we're thirsty.
Yeah, and of course if you do it with a straw and hold your nose, it can go down even quicker.
I ordered, I must have told this on the air before, when I was in... Greece a little while ago. I was stuck for something to do in the afternoon, so I went to the bar, sat there on my own, and had a chat with the barman, and I ordered a Long Island iced tea, one of my favourite drinks. It tastes like a Coke, but it's got the all the subtlety of a flying mallet. And he couldn't believe that I'd ordered this thing. I mean, it was there, it was on the menu, and it cost, you know, but pennies. And when he made it in front of me, I realised why he couldn't believe that I'd ordered it. It was like something that 10 people would order, and they'd all have straws.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. He had, it was like a jumbo... I haven't been to McDonald's in a good long while, but imagine the biggest cup that they serve anything in. It was like the kind of bucket that you get popcorn in. Huge. It was almost 2 pints. He filled it with ice, and then he filled it to the brim with, I think there's 4 different spirits go into it, isn't there?
Yes, there's a lot.
And there was so much spirits in a 2-pint glass that he couldn't actually fit any Coke in there.
Did you drink it?
Yeah, I drank it, and then I asked for another one.
I bet you fell out of the bar, did you?
Not until I asked for another one.
Oh, dear.
And the third one was the mistake.
There's no break.
There's no break.
What? Oh, no break at 55. He said he pointed for the break and he took his headphones off. He thought, there's a job well done. Oh, blimey.
and it was.
That crucial word.
Yeah. No break at 55. Right.
Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have written it at all. I often think that. when I
Yeah,
write
maybe
it.
not.
Because you still see the 55 and think,
Yeah. I'm too busy talking to read. I can't do both.
oh, sorry. I'm sorry about that.
And so this policeman has now said that children who are drunk all the time should be taken away from their parents and put into care. Well, I don't think that care has a very good history of producing, people that are legal, decent, honest and true.
No.
But something should be done. It's the parents, stupid, to misquote Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton said it's the economy, stupid, didn't he? Yeah, well, it is the parents. If you just treat life, if your career is sitting at home drinking Stella, and watching Trisha, then you're not going to bring up you're not going to bring up children who are going to make a positive change in the world, are you? Because you're not making a positive change in the world. I swear that the human race has now got Darwinism in reverse. We're actually getting stupider as a species, not brighter. Crows are overtaking us now. It's true, they're using two tools now, and can tell the difference between one and the other. So all the animal species are getting brighter. We, as a race, as a species, are getting stupider. And I think the reason is because this thin veneer of civility that we cloak ourselves with makes it unacceptable for the weak and the stupid to waste away and die, which they would in any other species. I mean, if you're a crow and you can't use tools to get your food, then you won't father or mother any little chicks.
Baby crows.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the same with any animal. If you can't figure things out, if you're stupider than the people around, than the animals around you, then you won't do well. And Darwinism suggests that you will fall by the wayside. Your genes will not survive.
Well,
now it's the opposite is true. All of the people who are having 12 babies at home are the ones who sit at home watching Jeremy Kyle all day.
Yeah.
The people who are out there actually paying tax and doing jobs and actually helping, they're sometimes not having children at all or restricting themselves to one or two. So eventually the whole origin of the species thing, all that Darwinism, is going to be completely flipped on its head.
Yeah, that's true.
It's actually quite frightening, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
And then you start to get into what they call eugenics, when you think, well, you know what? A good idea, because, those nice people who are out there at Heathrow who are being painted as the devil incarnate by the red top press. They haven't actually done very much of anything other than eating muesli and banging their bongo drums.
Bit of super glue.
Yeah, they're all right, of course. They're all deluded that they can actually make a difference, but they're all right in that, they're all correct in thinking that we should actually stop our wicked ways, but we won't. Whether you shout or stick your hands to the window of the Department of Trade or wherever it was, you can do anything you like, it's not going to make any difference. But the big problem is there's too many of us, and we're growing exponentially, and we're all starting to live in cities, and we're doomed, basically.
Oh. Oh dear.
It's true. And so the major problem that's facing the world is that there's too many of us, and the rate of increase of us as a species is going through the roof. I mean, I can't remember the exact figure, so I'll just pull one from space. It took 100 years for the first billion people to occupy the planet, and it's something quite frightening that in the next 10 years there'll be another billion, and then in the next 5 years after that there'll be another billion, and it's just we're going to be shoulder to shoulder. So a good idea might be to start campaigning for people to stop having sex.
Right, yeah. I'd like to see how that goes.
Yeah.
If you'd like to impose that law.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
I'll go out there with my flashlight.
I don't think anyone would protest about that at all.
No.
They'd be fine. They'd go along with that. They could see the sense in it.
Or just do the Chinese thing where we try to prevent people from having so many children.
Yeah.
course, certain religions will be very upset about that, because the fewer children that they have within those religions, then the fewer amount of people who subscribe to those religions there will be. It's a numbers thing.
Yeah.
But I think that's the problem, and that's the solution. Fewer people. Everyone should have to take an exam, which is going to be a lot harder than the A-level, before they can actually pass on their genes. Don't you think that would be a good idea?
They have to qualify to have children.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a bit of sense in that,
Well,
actually.
there's a tremendous amount of sense in it, but there's absolutely pointless even discussing it, because it'll never happen.
No, it won't.
But in 100 years' time, we'll look back and wish that someone had done something.
Oh, yeah. And again, you'll say, why was I so right?
Yeah, exactly. They'll Google it. And the picture
Who said it first?
Yeah, a picture of me will come
And
up
you'll
there.
pop up.
Yeah, that's right. He spent the last 50 years of his life in prison for even suggesting such a thing, and received a public apology from the government upon his death. Sorry about that, they said. Don't be first, they said.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Hey, honey, how are you?
Right, let's jump right into it and have one in Orpington. Hello, Colin.
Hello.
Colin.
How are you?
I am great, mate.
That's good. I'm listening with interest the programme earlier on, and I just wondered whether you'd read a book called The Peter Principle.
The Peter Principle?
Yes.
No.
And it's called People Reaching Their Level of Incompetence.
Is that what that principle is called? Peter,
Yes.
The Peter Principle?
Yes. Yes, I've read it 3 times.
P-E-T-E-R?
Sorry?
P-E-T-E-R?
Yes. The Peter Principle.
I thought it was something else. Is that the principle where people get promoted
That's
if they do
right.
well, and then they
That's
get
right.
promoted if they do well? And
They reach the level of
incompetence, and that's the point
And-
at which they stay.
Yes.
Therefore, whole companies
And it
are
goes-
being run by people who are incompetent in their current job.
Precisely. Precisely. And that makes you wonder whether all the people that have reached their elevated sort of position, the only one I can think of recently is like John Reed. And he had 10 jobs in 10 years.
Right.
So how good was he at doing his job?
Well, he was super at the first 9.
You think so?
I don't know. On what basis do we measure these things? Nobody. We didn't all die on his watch.
No,
I guess we can be grateful for
that's
that.
fair comment.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fair comment. But each person that reaches that level is incompetent.
Yeah, exactly. Just listen to this show.
On the Peter. Sorry,
I quite agree with you. Yeah. Why is it called the Peter Principle?
I don't know. Don't know.
You just read the book.
Well, I've read it 3 times, and it's called the Peter Principle. And
But who's Peter?
don't know.
And you read the book 3 times?
Yes.
About the Peter Principle?
Yes.
And you don't know why it's called the Peter Principle?
No.
Okay, well done.
I only know the background attached to it.
Right, you only read the back page. Okay, that's excellent. Thanks a lot,
I'm
mate.
Sorry, no, I've read it. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Well, I would have thought that would have been the most important thing about it. Why is it called the Peter Principle? That was my first question. And if I'd read it 3 times, I think I would, and it didn't tell me, I think I would have felt cheated. I'm sure it's called something else, not the Peter Principle, because I've heard this principle because I did the study of the bleeding obvious at university, psychology, and that was one of the things that came up. But it was called something else. Here is Burton-on-Trent. Oh, Adrian.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
I am all right, mate.
Yeah, I actually made a complete pillock of myself yesterday. I don't know if you heard that, first of all. I actually phoned Ian Lee, which is the first time I've done that.
Yeah.
But it was talking about something you never talk about, you know, the show that I'm into. But
The what?
that David Hasselhoff show I'm into, so we won't go into that, but he was actually talking about that. So
The one with the talking car?
yeah.
Yeah.
But sounded like a complete imbecile.
Hey, thanks very much for the notice that Beavis and Butthead was on something called TMF, whatever that is.
Did you watch it then?
I saw 2 episodes, and then I've been searching for it ever since, and there hasn't been one on.
No, it's not on this week, but I believe there's one on a week tomorrow. It's just 1 episode.
Great.
But
I haven't seen them since they were first shown. They are hilarious.
But they do keep showing. Last week, they were all episodes I've seen, like, in a 4-week period already. It's like they've got about 10 or something. So don't get too excited about it, because you'll soon come round to them again and again and again and again. It was like you say, Channel 4 with is it Channel 4 with The Simpsons or Sky with The Simpsons?
Well, they both show them.
I mean, the ones which ones keep repeating on these?
Oh, Sky, they just... It seems they've only got 10, and they just keep showing them over and over and over again. You'd think that they'd have access to everyone that's ever been made.
That was a rather short-lived series, like Beavis and Butthead, thinking about it. It only lasted 4 years. Why did it end up so soon?
He probably made as much money as it's possible for a human being to acquire, and then he moved on to do King of the Hill, which wasn't even close to being as funny.
No, it's definitely time they did another film with that. If I do that, I mean, you've saved my life, saved me time going to see the Simpsons film.
Yeah, don't see the Simpsons film. It's rubbish.
And I always take on board your advice.
Good.
And, another update on the McGiven woman.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's on yet. I'll guess in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
She's on with somebody you've never heard of in your life.
Oh, right, yeah.
Who is it?
Sherry Houston.
Oh, right, yeah.
Who's that?
I knew you wouldn't have heard of her.
Sherry who?
Houston, I think it is.
Sherry Houston?
Yeah, she's on...
is she going out with a footballer?
She's soap actress, and she's on Luke.
Yeah, like I said.
Carol, yeah.
Cheryl Houston.
Sherry, like the drink.
Sherry. Sherry baby. No, never heard of her. But then she's probably never heard of me.
Well, more fool her.
But then I'm not a celebrity.
But, you were talking about Google Earth. Like, before Google Earth, I don't know if this ever happened to you. Did you ever have anybody knock on your door with a picture, an aerial picture taken from a helicopter?
No.
Well, we've got one about from 10 years ago.
What? Right. Photograph right inside your bedroom saying, if you don't pay the following amount on a monthly basis, we'll tell your mum.
No, it's like... No, that's never happened to me. I'm a good boy, aren't I?
Yeah, right.
So it's like it's a photo of your street and like a few streets off and, whatever's around the surrounding areas. I mean, it's been made.
And they want to sell you it?
Yeah.
No, I've never had that. Have you ever had that, Luce? People would be
Never,
afraid to
ever.
come into your area, wouldn't they?
Yeah. they come
Helicopter's the best place, is the best way to navigate your area.
Of course, they could shoot down and miss that, couldn't they?
Adrian, that was really unkind.
Anyway, did you buy one?
No, I didn't buy one. My mum bought one.
Right.
But, I mean, that's another business that must have come and gone through, the hands of the internet.
The internet is sweeping all before it, and I don't think it's even started yet. I think that the big change is going to come when we've got unlimited broadband in Wi-Fi. Because I think TV is going to change out of all recognition as well. All of the people who make things, all of the artists, are going to sell directly to the general public. Simply Red has just started that. I think the record industry is screwed, TV is screwed. Any of the major companies, the companies that have bestrode the world and have seemed like just money-making machines through the from the 50s onwards, are looking at the doom. They're looking at death in the face, really, because if Simply Red can make if he can go into a studio, just hire a studio out for whatever it is a day, and produce the records himself and sell them himself without going through a record company that would take everything from him and then give him back, 10p in every pound, something like that. If he can go and do that, then why would anybody use a record company if they're already famous? So you'd think that all the people who've already made it, David Bowie, the Stones, the Who, everybody that you've heard of, if they could be bothered, they probably can't because they've all got a tenth of Switzerland each. How much money do you need? They could just cut the middleman out. It's the middleman that's making all of the money, and so I think that TV companies are going to start doing that. You know, if you want to see 24, they won't sell it to Sky. They'll sell it directly to you. You can buy them straight away off the net, and they'll release them. You know, in much the same way as they do now on a weekly basis. But I think that the change has been tiny so far, and it's actually been massive. I mean, if you consider how we receive information now to how we did even 10 years ago, the difference is huge. Could you imagine having a mobile phone that's thinner than a packet of fags that you could watch live news on? I mean, it's just inconceivable what's happening.
Do you think the TV licence will get scrapped in time?
They'll find another way of charging it, won't they?
Because it just seems so sort of dated almost, doesn't it? And because there is so much choice now.
Yeah. But it's going to be harder and harder to justify it.
Yeah.
Whether it will, whether they'll scrap it or not, I don't think that there's many governments who are that interested in scrapping taxes. Are they really?
Well, that's true.
They might say they are, but they're not.
But Nick, there's a lot of companies peaked too early, didn't they, with the internet as well, and they've fallen victim to that. There's one that used to, I can't even remember the name of it now, used to sell CDs and stuff. And, well, going back a long time, it's a virgin on ridiculous for me to tell you, but I won 10, and from this company on the internet, you had to go online to actually order them, the CDs.
Right.
And I wasn't even on the internet at that time, so that was like massively inconvenient feeling. So I had to get somebody to do it for me.
Oh, poor baby.
But the company has since folded, so and that was like.
So you win in the end.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's peaked too soon. Right. It must be like booming now.
Yes. That's right. Well, they can pick themselves up, dust themselves down, and start all over again. Here, listen, I'll pass the break. I've got to go.
Okay, before I go, do you want me to give you Lucy to wipe down?
And in closing, Aid, say bye-bye. It's 11:14. This is LBC.
London's big
boys.
Mr. Nolan, is that your name?
It is, Nick. Well, it's my nickname, my fighting name.
Rightio.
I'm a dispatch rider, worked in central London for 15 years, adore central London.
You're a dispatch rider?
Afraid so.
Are you insane?
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes. Actually, a couple of excursions on what people have said recently. One, the Peter Principle. Were you thinking of Pareto Principle, the 80-20 proportion theory?
The what principle?
Pareto.
No, that doesn't ring a bell either. I'm sure it's something...
Oh, I had a call about that.
Yeah, go on.
That it's Parkinson's law, apparently.
That sounds more like it.
Which is jobs expand to fill the space available and money available.
Is that Parkinson's law?
Yes.
No, I'm talking about the law where people get promoted to their level of inability.
Oh, the law of creative incompetence. I can't remember who wrote that.
No, I can't either.
Maybe it was Peter somebody.
Peter somebody, maybe, yeah.
Could have been. And the other little diversion, you were talking about music business, and there are stuff because of internet. Well, I'm standing outside Mark Knopfler's private studio, which he paid £10 million, calls it his £10 million shed. It's set up for himself and his friends. He's not working tonight, but it's a beautiful studio.
Well, £10 million, I would hope so. Where is that, then?
In British Grove.
Oh, you didn't have to tell me the exact address, just, like, generally.
Hammersmith.
Hammersmith, right.
Yeah.
Something in Hammersmith cost £10 million?
Well, quite a bit of stuff he wanted in there, yes.
Right.
Yes, he wanted the best. But just for himself, it's not a commercial studio. But across the road is a commercial studio, which is the architects and builders have been in there. So how is this for balls by the record industry? Ireland have been refurbishing their old studios in the same road, 5 paces away from Mark Knopfler's place. Are they silly, or do they know something?
Well, the people will always want studios. I mean, they presumably will rent them out to whoever wants them, right?
Well, townhouse studios are just shut down in Hammersmith. The big studios are having trouble. Small studios are going out of business like there's no tomorrow because of internet, because of
People are recording their music in their bedroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the technology's there.
I did not know that.
Yeah. The studios are having a bit of a hard time, as are record companies, of course, because of the internet. But
yeah, record companies in particular are really screwed, aren't they? I mean, this tidal wave of change has taken them all completely by surprise, and I get the impression that they still haven't come to terms with it yet. They want to still pretend that they're in the 70s, and that everything is still okay, and pass a bucket of Coke, please.
Yeah.
But it's not. No one's buying CDs anymore. They're stealing them.
What, on download?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't steal them.
Well, you're a good girl, you are.
Pay for them. Yeah.
And that you pay for them, and then you put them in the attic.
Well, yeah, we put the ones that we own in the attic.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay, isn't it?
But there's something about having a nice shelf of CDs.
Oh,
yeah, it's horrible.
Really?
Oh, it's icky.
A shelf of albums, like old vinyl records, yes, because they were organic and nice to feel and touch, see and smell. Oh, the smell of it.
We found a new solution to that, actually.
What?
My husband has now bought a cable that he can attach to his LP player so that we can download his LPs into the computer and then sell the LPs.
Sell?
Yeah.
No, you won't get him to sell them.
No, he's quite up for selling some. He says some he doesn't, but then I said, how much money can you get for LPs now? Really, nothing?
Well, it depends on what they are, but I would imagine nothing at all.
If some of them are decent...
What do you mean by decent? Clanad, something like that? Enya, something like that, is it?
No.
The Lighthouse Family?
No, no,
You know, a lot of music for people who don't like music, something like that, Luce.
He's got some of the old Beatles ones and
things. Beatles, yeah, that'll be nice.
Boring! Well, whether or not it's boring, do you think that he'd get any money for them?
Well, Beatles, of course, Beatles and Elvis, rarities from those two acts, would sell for higher prices than any other acts in history. But are they rarities?
Well, one is the blue one with the actual blue.
Right, the album that every single person in the entire world bought. Yes.
The red or the blue one. Anyway.
But you get nothing for that.
Literally nothing, you think?
I've got absolutely no idea, but I would imagine it would be a matter of pounds.
So, really, do you think it would be a completely pointless thing to try and sell any of them?
Yeah.
Really? So what was the point of us keeping them then? Nothing. He might as well just download them into the computer and we just chuck them in the bin then.
Well, that's an outrageous thing to say. That's his youth you're throwing away there.
No, he's up for this too.
I mean, I know that you've you snipped them off. but leave a little bit of his manlyhood loose. Just a smidge.
Well, I'm just trying to be sensible because we're trying to clear a room, you know.
Sensible.
This actually wasn't my idea. He actually came and told me that he'd found this cable and wanted to do it. So I then said, I don't know if you can make any money from it. And so I thought you might know if we could. But you don't think so.
Right, you are the Pol Pot of cleaning. That's what he said before he started his reign. Just want to be sensible, he said. Just do a little clearing. You can't make him throw his albums out. That's like throwing your diary out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, each scratch, each hiccup in the vinyl means something.
But that vinyl, like old diaries, is sitting in a cupboard that doesn't even get played now at all.
Neither do mine.
Well, what's the point of that? Don't you get frustrated if they're just sitting there winking at you?
Winking at me?
Well, saying, hi, you never play me, thanks very much.
Have you been at the gin again?
No, I don't. Well, I don't look at them. They're in the cupboard. And I'll only see them again when I move. I'll have to lug them around.
And they weigh an absolute ton.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Well, then, does that not seem a bit daft?
Well, that's blokes, Luce.
Yeah, but... We say goodbye to our childish past, don't we?
I bet you say but like 100 times a day. Faced with what seems like the most extraordinary stupidity, and you're absolutely right in every respect, apart from in your heart.
Right. I'm right in my heart. It's just maybe not correlating with other people's.
In your mind, you're right.
Okay. Well... I just think I'm being a bit sensible here. And, you know...
exactly, sensible. There's that horrible word again.
Okay.
That clinical word that's looking over its spectacles at you.
But I think...
With disapproval. Sensible.
in our life, and especially in my life, I look at other people around me who sell things all the time and they make money and they're really good at making money out of things in their own homes. And we seem to be the sort of people that always end up taking it to the tip, you know, and getting nothing for all this stuff we've bought over the years.
Oh, come off it. Who's
pointless.
making loads of money by selling the rubbish that's just lying around their homes? I think that whole eBay thing is... no, I don't believe it at all.
I think you've got to dedicate a lot of time to doing it, though. And
well,
I
who's
just
got that much stuff they want to sell?
But I think nobody. It's people who can be bothered to do the little things like selling CDs.
All right, you might...
and old books,
Yeah,
you know.
you'd
on
slave away, taking a
Amazon or
photograph of it and putting it on eBay and then looking at eBay for hour upon endless hours to see if you're going to make anything, and at the end of the week you might have made a tenner.
Yeah,
For all that trouble. What's the point?
Well, I don't know, because you've made a tenner.
And you cleared a space in your squalid little lounge.
And you would have just chucked that book in the, you know, charity shop otherwise.
Right.
So...
Well, so you're depriving the poor of the world just so that you can make a fiver. What an awful woman you are. I really mean that. I had no idea.
Oh, I'm so cruel.
You just give it to the charity shop, she said dismissively.
No, but I take all my stuff.
I thought you were a nice lady.
Stop it. You're twisting my words.
No, that's exactly what you just said. I'm shocked. I am actually stunned.
Okay, so when you take things to the charity shop,
yes.
do you take
what
your
a waste
really...
that is. Yeah,
no,
charity.
Do you take your really nice
People should just
things
die.
to the charity
Is that what
shop?
you're saying? Huh?
Stop it now. When you go to the charity shop, I'd like to know if you take really nice things there.
Yes.
No, you don't.
Well, I take things that I don't want anymore.
Yeah.
Mostly clothes.
Now, what if it was something worth a lot of money? You wouldn't take it there, would you?
Well, I wouldn't get rid of it.
No, that's a silly thing
I
to
don't
say,
have
though.
nice things, Lucy. I can only dream of having nice things like you.
It. Come on. I'm sure you must have given some stuff to a charity shop, and basically it's the stuff you don't want anymore and that is hanging around and just looks awful. And the fact is, if you went into a charity shop and saw that there, you wouldn't buy it.
Well, no, of course not, because you've just given it to them. That would be the height of stupidity.
I don't mean that very item, but I mean... Okay, well, do you go into charity shops and buy things there?
I bought a couple of lamps, yeah.
Okay,
They're massive. They're as big as I am. No, they weren't. They're not antiques, but they were absolutely gigantic. I mean, they're almost 6 foot tall and about 2 foot wide. They're just giant columns of light. I've never seen such big lights in all my life.
Well, that sounds like a really good, unusual
That was a massive find, yeah.
You can get some good... My brother, he thought he'd found an antique in a charity shop, and he brought it home.
What was the guy's name?
And he said to me, he said, I think I've got a really good bargain here, I've got to show you. And we said, oh, come on then, show us. He went out to the car and he lugged in this heavy box, opened it, and it was an old typewriter. And he said, I think it's worth a lot of money. And we said, do you? And he said, yeah. I said, how much did you pay for it? And he paid 25 quid in the charity shop. And I looked them up on eBay, loads of them. Guess how much they're going for? About a fiver?
Well, I would think so, yeah, because...
Terrible.
Because
And the look on his face, he said, oh, I was so sure I had an antique on my hands.
Well, if you think about it, the typewriters were as common then as computers are now, because everyone had to type, right? At home you had to type, and every desk at work had a typewriter. Clacking away they were. The noise that used to go on in offices, now it's all beeps of emails as they come into your little thing. I'll talk about emails in a little while as well. But, yeah, the whole world has a typewriter somewhere.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But, you know, I could see, he's a fair bit younger than me, so he thought this was a really, you know, amazing thing to get.
What an idiot.
Oh,
I hope you
felt
rubbed it in.
sad for him. He didn't have the money to be spending on an old typewriter either. What a waste.
Well, it'll be educational. You could get him to actually type something.
Yeah, but also...
What a nightmare that used to be.
Why were the charity shop charging so much money for
It's for charity.
Yeah, but you can't...
It's not M&S.
You don't tap them up that much, surely. Doesn't that defeat the whole point?
The point of a charity shop, surely, is to raise money for the charity.
Of course, but they're often at cheaper prices, aren't they?
Well, they're second-hand.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're second-hand, they're at cheaper prices.
Yeah.
But this isn't, is it?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's an antique. Could be worth a fortune, Luce.
Not. It's not at all.
I bet it writes and everything.
Apparently so. Not that you'd want to use it.
No, not now, not ever. Just typing in general, and that can't stop soon enough. I mean, I know we've had a revolution in communications, but we're still stuck typing.
Oh,
People sit at home, huh?
I love it.
You
I'd be
love
really
typing.
upset if
That's just
typing.
one of the weirdest things you've ever said.
Why?
People sit at home and they think that they're, they sit at home on My Face space, and they've got like 151 different close personal friends, and they're communicating with people. No, you're not. You're sitting at home in your underwear and you're typing. Get out the house and stop typing.
The son of...
I say a few words. Thank you.
And these are about the How Low auction, which is going on at the moment. Someone's won a 42-inch Philips plasma TV every day this week in our How Low reverse auction competitions. And this weekend we're giving you the chance to win a complete entertainment package, which includes said plasma TV and the brand new Xbox 360 Elite Games console, which is not even in the shops yet. And when it gets there, you will see that it offers sleek black looks, a wireless motion sensing controller, a whopping 120GB hard drive, which is twice as much capacity as the PS3. You'll be able to download more games and movies and music and all of that good stuff. The TV and the Xbox 360, is a force to be reckoned with. The TV is HD ready, built-in Freeview, all that jazz. Oh, it just couldn't be better. Isn't that right? To bid, it's a How Low auction, so it's the lowest unique bid in pence that nobody else bids. And this ends at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So, text your bid to LBC, and I'm getting confused now. Text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. That's the number. For example, if it was 45p, you would text LBC 40... Is there a space? Because I hear some people say space and some people not.
I would think not.
All right, LBC 45, it was 45 pence. LBC 45 to 88821. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. Lines closed 2 p.m. Sunday, 19th of August 2007. Bidders must be over 16. For full terms and conditions, see lbc.co.uk/competitions.
Orky/Dorky.
Here is South Norwood. Hello, Philip.
Oh, good evening, Nick.
Philip.
Before I get to the point I phoned in for, there are a number of shops in Croydon that deal in old LPs and such like.
Ah, yes.
So maybe Lucy could check them out on the internet. One of them's called Beano, so Lucy, if you check that out, you might see whether your husband's got a bargain or not.
Oh, thank you. I'll have a look.
Yep. What I've got tonight, Nick, I've found an old pop chart from June the 7th, 1973, but it's an Australian top 40.
1973. I'll tell you the bands that are in it.
Well, you tell me, what do you think's number one, Nick?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
I'll tell you the bands that are in the chart. Now, you're putting me on the spot. Number one, how am I supposed to know what that is? Mud.
No.
Sweet.
Sweet are in there, Nick, yes.
Slade.
Slade, no.
The Rubettes.
No. Bear in mind, Nick, this is an Australian top 40.
Gary Glitter.
Yes.
Mud, Sweet, Slade, Rubettes, Gary Glitter. Mary... What was her name?
Mary Hopkins.
Mary Hopkins.
Nope. It's funny, this chart, because I picked out, didn't do all the 40, but it's got underneath...
Free.
Free?
Mm-hmm.
No. It's got underneath, it's got 15 what they call predictions. Songs that were going to go into, they thought might go into the charts. And one of them is an Elvis song that I've never heard of. It's a double-sider. She Gave Me a Mountain and Steamroller Blues. Have you ever heard that?
One of my favourite songs of all time is a Christmas track that Elvis did that I've never heard outside of me playing it personally, and it lasts for about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a blues track. It's just I think it's the best thing that Elvis ever did. I can't, and I want to say it's something like, it's not I'll Be Lonely This Christmas, or it's I'll Have a Blue Blue Christmas. It's not one of those. It's like it's a real honest blues workout lasting 7 minutes. It's great. Look it up.
Maybe that the same thing I said to Lucy. Maybe you would find it at the second-hand shop. Wooden Heart, the old Elvis song, by the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, that was one. That was what they predicted would go into the charts. Going into the main charts. Oh, no, there's one other prediction. Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy.
Of Company B?
Yeah, by who?
Bette Midler.
Yes. That was some film she did. Didn't she do a film where she did American Singers in the Ward?
Well, she used to do that as part of her stage act. I've seen her do
Yeah,
that.
I know she did a film. Right, into the main chart. Number 35 is a song that I quite like, Drift Away by Dobie Gray.
Yeah. Are you actually going to read out all 35?
No. I picked it, I've cut it down. There's only about 12, 13.
Okay.
34.
Dobie Gray, Drift Away. Yes, we like that one.
34 is a song that I bought in 1973, still play it occasionally. It's a song called The Morning After by Maureen McGovern.
Sounds horrible.
Did you ever see the original Poseidon Adventure?
No.
Well, in the film, there was this song, there was a group in it before the ship turned upside down.
Hey, wasn't, what's her name in that? Wasn't Esther in that film?
Esther who?
Not Esther Williams. Who?
Shelley Winters.
Shelley Winters.
There's no business.
Who was that?
Oh, not me.
Who was that? There's no business like show business like...
Oh, Ethel Merman.
No, everything about it is...
I'm not sure whether Ethel Merman was in it. I think she might have been.
Come on.
Anyway, it was featured in the film. Right, the one you mentioned, Blockbuster.
By Sweet?
Yes. One by, I'm trying to find it now, I've written it down, Paul McCartney, a song called My Love.
My Love, right,
Yeah.
that was all right, I suppose. I think that was on, I can't remember, but after Band on the Run, no one was remotely interested.
Well, it was the Wings, was it?
You keep going on with your bad self, Paul. Yeah?
24, now this is, I've heard there's a guy, it's called Dead Skunk by Loudon Wainwright.
Loudon Wainwright.
Loudon Wainwright,
Yeah.
sorry.
Dead Skunk.
The third.
Want to score some pot?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Now, here's another one that you've never heard of. 15 is Last Song by Edward Bear.
Right.
I wonder if there's any Aussies out there who know these people.
Oh, let's hope not.
Number 12, now you've heard of this one. The Union Song by the Strawbs.
Right, I'm a union man.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. Number 11.
Can you do it like Alan?
You told me not to sing last week, Nick.
No, don't sing.
No. Oh, I wouldn't sing then. My LP is
Number
coming out
10. Go on.
Number 11, Get Down by Gilbert O'Sullivan. Yes.
There's another guy. He looked like a poodle. Gilbert O'Sullivan. Will the pain never end?
Yeah, I think actually he was on with Steve Allen had him on not long ago.
Oh, like I said, Gilbert O'Sullivan. He's super. I wish he'd come back and do more music.
Number 8, Top of the World by the Carpenters.
Ah, yes. Now, see, the Carpenters, they really had something.
I mean, it's some good songs. Number 7, when I first heard this song, I thought, what's it all about?
Alfie.
No. It was Space Oddity by David Bowie.
Right.
Which I thought was a pretty good song.
Mm-hmm. Groovy. Yeah.
Number 6, another song I bought in 1973, still play it, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia by Vicki Lawrence. You ever heard it?
Vaguely, yeah.
It tells a story. It's,
never mind.
Oh, anyway, because Vicki Lawrence went on, she took up acting and did a lot on American television with Carol Burnett.
Oh, bound to have done, yeah.
Now, here's the one that's got me puzzled. I'd love to know who this guy is. Judd Strunk, S-T-R-U-N-K, and he was number 2 with a song called A Daisy a Day.
Well, it sounds like his success was banded by the outline of Australia.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the number of Australian artists that are in there. I haven't mentioned quite a few of them.
Oh, well then, it's a great relief all round.
Yeah.
Australian music.
That was the first time I'd ever, actually I was in Australia in 73 for the first time.
Even AC/DC were half Glaswegian.
Oh, yeah, Crowded House. Was Crowded House Australian?
Oh, Crowded House.
Boring! And there was Helen Reddy. I quite liked Helen Reddy.
Helen Reddy, Steady Go, yes.
Yes. Number 1. What was number 1, Nick?
Not Mud, not Sweet, not Slade the Rubettes. It was Gary Glitter, Rock and Roll Part 2.
It was an American group. It was a song, actually. I was doing, a few years after I was doing hospital radio, and this song was requested every single week I had to play this song.
All right. An American band?
American group.
How many people?
I think there were 3, if I remember right.
Three Dog Night.
No. And their lead singer was a guy called Tony.
Tony.
He'd had hits on his own.
Dawn.
Yes.
Tie a Yellow Ribbon.
Yes.
I hate that track.
Well, I must admit, I used to come in on a Thursday morning when I did my programme, and I thought, used to work out where you were going to play it, at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end.
Yeah, I'll I'll have Lucy play it when I'm gone.
This is,
Tony, Orlando, and Dawn.
Yes. Oh, no.
I don't mind if I never hear that again. I can see them in my mind doing the actual dance.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what songs, that you look back on, and some of them still stand the test of time. But,
yeah, it's amazing what drivel actually sells in giant amounts, is what's amazing.
I mean, Petula Clark was in there with a wedding song, Jay Fogarty.
Well, that would never happen.
Jay Fogarty and the Blue Ridge Rangers, Jambalaya. Wasn't that Creedence Clearwater Revival, Jim Fogarty?
I don't know. John Fogerty?
Yes.
Yeah, you might be right there. Jambalaya, Crawfish Pie, Philly Gumbo.
Yes.
Hey.
Cliff Richard had Power to All Our Friends.
Well, we'll draw a veil over that.
Yeah. The Bee Gees, Saw a New Morning.
Never heard of it.
No, I've never heard that one.
If it wasn't in Saturday Night Fever, I don't want to know.
Tom Jones, Letter to Lucille.
Can anybody explain the popularity of Tom Jones, by the way? He's just like a giant, sweating ball of hair. He's like something the cat coughed up. I don't get it.
Did you ever see the programmes he made, I'm trying to think, it might be the 70s, the Mid-Atlantic shows, where he had this hour show, and he had guests on the show, and the thing was, he had a lot of people that we in the UK, well, the majority of people, had never heard of.
Right.
I mean, give an example. On one show, he had the American country comedian. Have you ever heard of her? She's long gone now. Minnie Pearl.
No, but I don't wish to hear anything about Tom Jones or Engelbert Humpsalot or any of those people.
What about Bread?
Bread?
Bread had a song in there called Sweet Surrender.
Oh, the pop charts have always been rubbish. And people like to look back and think, in the golden days, in the mid-70s, they were fabulous. No, they weren't. They were absolute tripe on a stick.
Oh, I think it depends, I mean, you talk about vinyl. When was the last time you bought some vinyl?
Decades ago. 1979, probably.
What was it?
I don't know, I was well into punk and new wave at the time.
Yeah.
You would not have heard of them.
Well, I bought one today, actually. I was looking down one of these shops, not the one I've mentioned to Lucy, but another one, and I picked up for £1 a vinyl LP of some of these songs by Jan and Dean.
Oh, right.
Big fan of Jan and Dean.
You were ripped off then?
Oh, no, I wasn't. I played it, it's really good.
Worth a whole £1, eh?
Well, it was, yes. I mean, Watermelon Wine by Tom T. Hall.
I could do with a couple of pints of that right now myself.
Oh, right.
Listen, Philip, I've got to go.
Okay, Nick, all the
Cheers,
best.
mate. Ta-da. Watermelon wine. Is that as awful as it actually sounds? Of course, Carol will be right in there. Booze. Here is, I pressed it, but it didn't happen. She was going to say...
Yeah.
Yeah. Joanna.
Hello! Hi!
Hello, Joanna.
There's actually, 6 of us, but yeah, we just thought, basically, one of my friends was sleeping over, right? And so, yeah, we were just let's call up Nick Abbott, because, yeah.
Sleeping over, eh?
A what then? Hello?
Yeah, so how's it going so far? You wearing pyjamas?
No, we've been doing all that. We were watching Hairspray. Have you ever seen it?
You were watching what?
Hairspray. The film.
Oh, Hairspray. What, the original?
Pardon?
The new one?
No, oh, yeah. The new one. Basically, our friend, right, she's a bit dodgy like that. She bought it on pirate, right? And it was quite funny because we're watching it, and then you've got, all these people going past in the middle of the film because, the cinema. It's so bad. Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Well, you cut me off.
Well, yeah, hold your breath, it's about to happen. But have a good time, girls, all right?
We just want to say, right, a big up to Phil.
Everyone that I know. Oh, God. What's happened, Luce? You come back, and then this happens. What the hell's going on?
Have I destroyed the show?
I think so, yeah. The amount of
dear.
calls that I was getting when I was working with Helen, I couldn't get through them all. Tonight has been an absolute blooming disaster.
Oh,
And it's all your fault.
thanks.
Hey, you know this woman called Chanel?
Yeah, but the trouble is I don't really know who she is.
No, neither do I.
particularly.
People keep, the tabloids
keep
keep
hearing
writing
about
about her all the time, yeah.
I thought they were getting confused with Chantel at first.
Chantel, Chanel, Bonjela, they're all called the same, aren't they? This is the one that looks like Posh Spice.
Oh,
She's got the haircut
yes.
the same, she's got the big glasses the same. Fuming Chanel, this is a picture in the Super Soaraway today. Fuming Chanel stands alone outside LA Galaxy's VIP area after her idol, Posh, snubbed her. The LA Galaxy is this team that David Beckham doesn't play for. Getting paid a lot, doesn't actually play for them.
Scored a goal this week, didn't he?
Oh, well done, mate.
Within 25 minutes. And he knew it was going to happen.
Well, every time he goes on the pitch, I think it would have a fair bet that he's going to score a goal. He's playing against complete amateurs. Well, not in the respect that they don't get any money for it, but, you know.
But it's not there.
I could play for LA Galaxy.
Could you?
No.
Get out there, quick.
Victoria Beckham refused to meet Chanel at Wednesday night's match, even though the blonde 19 had jetted nearly 6,000 miles for a chance to come face-to-face with her.
Is Chanel British?
Yeah.
She flew away just to meet her?
That's what it says here. The Beckham security refused to let desperate Chanel into Victoria's luxury box at Galaxy's ground in Carson, California, where she watched the game with friends and family. A source close to Victoria said, "There's no way Chanel was getting past Posh's," continued on page 2, "security. She's flattered that Chanel is a fan, but she has no rush to, she's in no rush to meet her. Wag wannabe Chanel, this is the woman who was in Big Brother house, right?
Oh,
and every
right.
now and again you remember that they're still in there. They're going to be very upset when they come out and they realise that nobody cares.
This woman sounds like a freak.
Yeah. Wag wannabe Chanel, it gets worse, ditched a chance to go back into the Big Brother house. In other words, she ditched a chance to win the however much money they're giving away.
Yeah.
And jetted to LA this week in a bid to meet her idol. Thinking, I'm famous now, we're all part of the same happy showbiz family.
Presumably some lovely journalist suggested this to her.
Must
though.
have done, yeah. Chanel even tried to make a splash by turning up at LAX airport in, you ready? Identical clothes to those worn by Victoria when she arrived early last month.
Because that doesn't say I'm a freak.
The ex-housemate was greeted by a few photographers, a far cry from the hundreds that turned up for Posh. Chanel was spotted arriving at LA ground in a Posh-style outfit of grey vest, blue jeans and sunglasses. The stroppy student from Wakefield walked out of Big Brother having a heated argument with blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But really, how to sound the warning bell...
Warning! Warning!
In anyone, in any famous person's mind, you fly 6,000 miles dressed as them.
That is just
in a bid
weird.
to meet them.
Bunny boiler.
Who wouldn't want to meet her?
God, I must say, I'm with Posh on this one. I mean, did she seriously think this woman would want, you know, that Victoria would want to meet her?
You might have it
I mean,
there, though, because...
but would you not be on the plane thinking, oh, maybe what I'm doing is a little bit weird here?
Yeah.
Oh, Anna, look how I'm dressed. Just like her. Won't she be thrilled to see me?
Because she's had the haircut and everything. The haircut's exactly like hers, the sunglasses...
So you
everything.
actually, as a person, want to lose your own identity to look like somebody else, right?
Well, I think that it's like the great British malaise at the moment. Everybody wants to be Posh Spice. Male or female, yeah. Well, more accurately, they want her lifestyle. They want to be fabulously rich, and they want to be followed by photographers everywhere they go. They want to jump queues and be fawned over, as though that's actually a career choice.
Yeah. But
You might as well say, oh, I want to win the lottery when I grow up.
well, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the same thing.
But, you know, she's married to David Beckham.
Yeah.
I mean...
Job's taken.
Yes. It's just mad, isn't it?
It's quite insane, yeah. I mean, what's your backup plan, Chanel?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have one.
Who's the next woman? Dear, dear.
It's really quite extraordinary, what we've come to.
Well, I suppose anyone who's a looky-likey is sort of masquerading in that way, aren't they? Or trying to achieve...
No famous people want to meet fans.
No, and you can see why, can't you? Can you imagine if a clone of yourself turned up?
Well, it's just weird,
Or trying
though.
to look like you.
I mean, no famous people want to meet fans. Here's a tip, and I haven't met many famous people, but the one thing that I have gleaned is that if you meet famous people, don't treat them like famous people, because they're just people.
Yeah.
Treat them like you would if you had got no idea who they were.
Yes, but equally don't treat them like you're their best friend.
Well, no, quite. Well, then you wouldn't do that to somebody who you'd never met before.
No.
But the fawning and the asking them questions about their, like, straight into, oh, do you remember that you did this and that and the other, and no, of course they don't, because they're not obsessed with their own life.
But of course, a lot of people feel they know the celebrity so much.
Yeah,
that
because they're in their room all the time. Yeah, you invite them into your front room on the telly, and then you have a relationship with them, which they don't have with you. You know who they are. They've got no idea who you are.
Or care.
Yes, they'd much prefer if you just left
and
the
ignore
vicinity.
them and pretend you'd not recognise them at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it must be terrible. Really awful.
It's one of the main reasons I don't want to be famous. I mean, not that that's going to happen anytime soon, but I think the whole concept of going out and people know who you are, but you don't know who they are. That just is horrific to me.
Yeah, at every time when you catch the tube, when you buy a paper,
eating in a restaurant.
Yeah,
everybody in a restaurant's eyes are swiveled at you.
Anytime. I mean, you couldn't do a thing, could you?
And every time you frown, people will be telling, "Oh, he's so miserable." Yeah. There's nothing that you can do right. You can only do wrong.
Oh, dear.
And people take exception to you for no good reason at all. Like, if you're the bad character in a soap, people will ascribe those characteristics to you, which is sort of understandable, because if you're in their house on a daily basis being nasty, then in their mind, you're a nasty person. But other people on television, people would either think nothing of them, they'll really, really love them, or a sizable majority, I'd say, for no good reason, absolutely hate you. Even if they don't have a very strong feelings one way or the other, if they see you in public, they'll dislike you because...
of the way you look.
Well, not the way you look necessarily, but just how you've invaded their lives. I think that might be it.
Well, I suppose to a degree we all form an opinion of people instantly, don't we? I mean, even if you see people in the street, if you meet someone in a room. So the same thing, I suppose, is bound to happen to people on television, even though it's completely unfair and unfounded, probably. And
and so every time that somebody, if you're famous, you've got this extra thing, because if you're standing on the tube, for instance, and someone's staring at you, it's usually one of two reasons. Either they think you're really horny, or they want to kill you. And if you're famous, you have this extra thing thrown in. It's just they think they know you. You're that bloke off the telly, or don't I know you from somewhere? It's one of those, and so you don't know whether to take your clothes off, to run screaming, or to get out your pen to sign an autograph.
Oh, it's awful.
Nightmare.
Yeah. Well, we'll avoid it.
If you're Prince,
Luckily.
if you're Prince or Mick Jagger, you probably would go straight to the first option. You want to take all of your clothes off straight away.
Yeah.
If you're...
Or you've got to just do it in style, I suppose. Just go with it. Or use all your... Well, the thing is, as I suppose, if you were really, really rich, you'd just take every precaution to avoid people, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that would be okay.
But fame and riches don't necessarily go hand in hand. Like, all these people on TV aren't necessarily rich. Like, all these soap stars, I can't believe how relatively little they get paid. It's something like, and it seems like a giant amount, but but in reality it isn't. Say it's 100 grand a year. 100,000 a year, to be about the most famous person in the country is not enough to insulate you from your public.
No, that isn't, is it? You can't get away from that.
No, you'd be hard-pressed to get away from public transport.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Would you?
Yeah, going in and out of London, shortly going to cost you 25 quid a day. It costs you £1,000 to park. So, yeah, don't be famous. That's my best advice to you.
I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah. This is LBC.
Whether you want to
Come on, we're running late!
I'm bemused by this response, aren't you?
Yes.
I mean, this is the worst ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they all?
I can't tell you.
I thought it's raining, everyone will be in, because if it's a really hot night and everyone will be grasping every last speck of summer, no one will, the board will be dead all night. But this, I just can't believe it. From having come off, I think it's your fault, Luce, having come off working with Helen when I couldn't get through the calls, there were so many of them, to come back to this. Because this is my show. This is the only show that I do that's actually me.
I know.
And, look.
Well, Helen said to me she didn't want to answer the phones, so she got you to.
Huh?
She said she didn't want to answer the phones, so you did. So maybe I won't answer the phones. How about that?
But then what will you do?
Oh, I'll just get my coat.
Get your coat, you haven't scored. I wonder if it's too late to take Joan. Hello, Joan.
Hello?
Joan.
How did you do that?
It's magic.
Yeah.
I better turn the radio off then. Yeah, I can hear myself back. Yeah. Oh, well, you know, ages ago, absolutely ages ago, you were talking about embassies, or I think you were.
Right.
And it reminded me of really quite a good adventure my son had ages ago. And I was very grateful to embassies.
Go on.
He went off on one of these terrible holidays where it's a bus come a lorry. And it's very cheap.
A bus come lorry?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Because you just sort of sit round on benches round the back of this kind of lorry. I don't even know if they had covering on, and at night you just had to take your...
Where was this?
Sorry?
Where was this?
Well, they were going all the way to Africa.
Right.
So they started...
Oh, that was their first mistake.
Going down through Europe.
Joan, can you fit it in the next 10 seconds?
No way!
Can I get you to hang on there?
All right.
All right. Another unsatisfied customer. I'm going to be back. Hang on. So they were in the back of a lorry going to Africa.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to go and avoid the English winter.
Right.
So anyway, I do astrology. I said, I'm sorry, but it's going to be cold where you go.
You did us...
I'm a bit of an astrologer, you see, so I said, no, I'm sorry, but it's going to be a bit cold where you go. He said, don't be ridiculous, I'm going to Africa. So anyway, they started off down Europe and had a lot of trouble. Every time they camped somewhere, there was a ring of police in the morning because they had to just get out and go in sleeping bags and so on. They had a lot of trouble with the Italian police, went down. Anyway, they eventually got across to Africa, to the Sahara Desert, and guess what? It snowed.
Really?
It snowed in the Sahara Desert. So anyway, they carried on, and they eventually got to this place called Tamanrasset, in the middle of the north bit of Africa. Algeria somewhere, I think. And anyway, there was this funny business. They thought they were going to go up this mountain, and they were told, you cannot go up this mountain unless you have a guide. Yeah. So they arranged some kind of financial deal and said, all right, we'll have to have the guide, yes. And it seemed as if the guide thought he was going to also get one of the women into the bargain. And unfortunately, you know, nobody was going to cooperate on that.
Huh. How very unreasonable.
Next morning, the guide didn't turn up. So they said, okay, well, we've paid, you know, we've done our bit, and we're going. I don't know how they stop people going up mountains or how they arrange this. Anyway, up they went. When they came down, they had confiscated everything from their lorry, cum bus, whatever it's called. They'd taken their passports. They'd thrown them in jail in the middle of nowhere because of this. So there's absolutely no real law and order. It was just a question of...
For unaccompanied yomping.
They just do what they want to do. So I get... The first I know is I get this little airmail letter scrawled, we have been thrown in jail. And
well, how long did the airmail letter take to get there?
Well, it must have been quick. Anyway, the first thing was I thought, I'll go out there and rescue my son. And then I thought, perhaps not.
Supermom.
So I got in touch with the local MP and asked if he could get in touch with the embassy and see what was happening out there.
12 years later.
And he did. And came back to me and said, well, actually, the 3 other embassies already involved by the time I'd got that letter. And so 3 other countries were involved. And they said, now that we've got your name, then we can have our embassy also involved. And they said, we'll sort it out. And I thought, well, if I haven't heard anything by Wednesday, which was a couple of days ahead, I thought, I really will go out. That's it. And anyway, by the Wednesday, I heard, yes, they are all on their way. And they had sorted the problem out.
Wow.
They got their passports back, and they got as far as Nairobi and came home.
And so, was it the British Embassy that sorted it out, or was it the other embassies that sorted it out?
Well, they're all together. I think it made it a much more powerful thing, the fact that they had 4 of them all together working on it.
Right.
And they got it sorted. Yeah, so, but by the time we got to Nairobi, he was going to go all the way down through Africa, and he said, no, I've seen enough of it, and get me an air ticket, and I'm coming straight home.
Yeah, Bognor next time.
And he was ill. He was so ill when he came back. So I wouldn't really recommend it.
Going to a holiday in a lorry? No.
It's not good.
All right, well, thanks for the good news, Joan.
Well, that was good news, wasn't it?
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye then.
Cheers, ta-da.
Bye.
Hey, there's something exciting that you'll like, Liz.
Oh, yeah.
A gelateria ice cream shop has invented a special ice cream to help overheated dogs cool down.
Oh, I do like the sound of that.
A shop in Vienna, in Austria, dogs can lick at vanilla, rice and soya-flavoured Dogissimo gelato. Simona, the owner, said it did not contain fat, sugar or additives that could trouble a canine stomach, but it was, please, dogs eat anything. Dogs eat their own product,
I was
don't
just
they?
going to say, I've got a cheaper solution that I use on my doggy.
What?
You just stick an ice cube in his water, and he thinks that is the best fun ever. Busy pulling it out, licking it. It's the most extraordinary thing. Much cheaper than an ice cream.
They've been inspired to create the dessert after seeing customers buy one ice cream for themselves and one for their dogs. But ice cream for humans is not healthy for dogs. Really? Well, if they eat it, surely, I mean...
No, that doesn't make it healthy, because dogs, as you say, will eat anything.
Yeah, but any animal will stop eating something that's not good for it,
Did
just
you say
by instinct,
what was in that? Soya and...
Gosh, that's absolutely awful. Vanilla, rice and soya.
Right.
Well, they don't eat rice, do they? Dogs don't eat rice, nor do they eat soya.
They will eat rice. You always, if a dog's got an upset tummy, you're supposed to give them rice and chicken. Boiled chicken.
The regulations for dog ice cream are more strict than for human ice cream.
There's a surprise.
She has around 20 canine customers a day, even though a small cup of the ice cream costs £3.20.
Good grief.
We want to be selling it in shops across Austria by the end of the month. However, humans who tasted it were not impressed. One said it tasted like steel that a dog peed on.
But isn't
Yummy
dog
dog
food
heaven.
supposed to be more expensive than food you can buy for humans anyway?
Yeah, cat and dog food, I think, yes. It's also the most popular item in the supermarket.
Is it really?
There's nothing else that you buy, that you go in and buy, a dozen cans of, is there? You'll buy the same thing over and over and over of Kitty... I think Kitty Cat is the biggest selling single food item.
Is it really?
In the country, yeah, I think I'm right about that.
Over doggy foods?
Yeah, I think Kitty Cat's bigger.
Than
Chum.
Is it? Wow. They both smell delicious, don't they, I must say. I'd really like to tuck in.
Here's Chiswick. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello.
Stephanie.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear?
Yeah, loud and clear.
I'm sorry I haven't had many phone calls.
Well, it's been a very strange night.
Why?
I've really no idea. I would have thought that everyone would have been in, staring at the outside.
I've just come back from Rush Hour 3.
Rush Hour 3?
Or whatever it's called.
What made you select that film?
Nothing, apart from the fact that I didn't want to watch The Bourne Ultimatum.
I think you chose the wrong film there.
I've read the book.
Of The Bourne Ultimatum?
Yes.
Right.
So, I decided not to.
And how was Rush Hour 3? I think I know what you're going to say.
Crazy.
Crazy bad or crazy good? Terrible, right?
It wasn't my cup of tea.
Staggeringly awful.
Yes.
Giant waste of money. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I nearly asked for my money back. And the popcorn.
Yeah, now, don't eat popcorn at the cinema. That's really annoying for everyone around you, just grazing and chomping away like that. How hungry are you?
Not.
Well, exactly.
I brought back half of 3/4 of it home with me.
Plus, it smells like feet.
Oh, it smells like feet. Yeah, no wonder I feel sick.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
So you must have gone with a bloke, right?
No, I went on my own.
Oh.
I like to watch cinema on my own.
Well, yeah.
Without people sort of nudging me and telling me, watch this bit, watch this bit.
Well, yes. Do you go with children? It's
No,
nice to watch a film in a completely empty cinema because there's, people.
Oh, it was
part of the
completely empty.
For Rush Hour 3, yeah, I'm not surprised. So those are the only two choices at your local Cineplex? Two bloke movies?
I don't know what bloke movies are.
Well, if there's lots of explosions and car chases, they're bloke movies.
Oh, is that what it was?
If there's a gun in the poster, it's for blokes.
Do you know, I honestly thought it was a comedy.
Rush Hour 3.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were going for, yeah.
Yeah. Complete surprise.
Even if
now,
you've read the book,
can I
would have
tell
chosen
you
Bourne
about my
Ultimatum.
experience with a celebrity?
Who is it? Or are you going to tell us first and then we'll have to guess?
Okay, I was coming back from Birmingham for my daughter's memorial. And I met this person, and I sort of said hello to them. I said, hello, how are you? Oh, it's a long time I've not seen you. And this person didn't recognize me. And, well, I don't want to say his name, but he said a TV chef.
TV chef? Yeah. Gordon Ramsay? Jamie Oliver?
No, a black bloke.
Oh. He is so annoying.
And do you know what I said?
I could give you a list of the things that I would have said. Go on.
I just said, a cook. Oh, a cook.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this person until 3 days ago when I was watching TV.
And there he was.
And there he was, doing the 5-minute cooking
Making your skin
program.
crawl. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, so in other words, you thought that you knew him personally, but you didn't. You only knew him off the telly.
Well, he looked like...
Blurted out the word cook, and he thinks he's a chef. He's probably very upset with you, yeah.
Do you think that's bad of me?
If you upset him, then you've done us all a favour. Thanks a lot, Stephanie. You keep up the good work, all right? Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
All right.
Here is Stepney. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. All right, very good
I am all right.
point. That article you read about the doggy ice cream,
Yeah.
I read that as well, but you never. I thought the funniest thing about it, which you never picked up on, was the human that reckoned the ice cream tasted like still that a dog had peed on.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, I know, but didn't you think that's strange? Well, how would you know what a bit of still tastes like? What a dog had peed on?
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you see what I'm getting? I thought, how would you know what it tastes like? Because the last thing I want to do is lick a bit of still at a dog.
That a dog had peed on, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it does taste like ice cream. Yeah, good point, Dave.
You wouldn't know that, would you? That's what I'm getting at. What would you know what a bit of still at dog's pee tastes like? Unless it was part of your balanced diet.
Yeah, does it taste a bit like chicken?
I wouldn't know.
Well, try some next time, Dave, and call us back and see how it went down, all right?
No, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, mate.
Ta-da.
Cheers, ta-da. LBC.
Join Lush. Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Hey, you just come back from holiday. Have you checked your emails yet?
Yeah.
How many did you get? 1,000. 850.
Huge amount.
10 million.
About that.
And they're all... I got tickets for Prince for next Thursday. Does anyone want to swap them for Friday?
Oh, I would have loved that email popping up. Tickets for Prince, not the swapsy, but you know. But no, it wasn't that sort of stuff. It was...
Have you got...
Has
anyone got a Nokia charger?
Who's parked in the car park with this registration? Yeah, that kind of thing.
We've got a letter at reception for John. Does anybody know who it is?
There's a parcel just arrived for you. That comes a lot. Yeah.
A lot of messages from people who are sitting next to each other.
Well, you don't get those when you're away, of course. Only in your bag. But, yeah, people do that, of course.
But there's a lot of stress involved with emails that we didn't used to have when people used to, you know, talk to each other. More than a third of people working in this country are suffering from email stress. As they get swamped with messages. Struggling to cope with the deluge of emails is leaving staff tired, frustrated and unproductive. More than a third said that they check their inbox every 15 minutes. Well, that's just insane, isn't it? I mean, you don't check your actual post every 15 minutes. It just comes once a day and that's it.
Is this 15 minutes when you're in the office?
Yeah.
But I can understand that, because... I mean, we kind of have to all the time.
No, you don't.
We're in the office. Yeah, we do.
No, you really don't. What will come in on your email that needs action right now?
Quite a bit of stuff, Ken.
Nothing
It
at
does.
all. 64% said that they looked at their email once an hour.
Really?
So, in other words, all you're doing is answering mail.
Well, my trouble is, I can't... Everything looks kind of vaguely important, or could be, or there's a potential... thing with something.
Right. None of it actually is.
So, my mailbox is normally about 90% most of the time full. And it keeps bringing up the message saying, you have nearly exceeded your mailbox.
So then send you another email saying you've got too many emails.
Well, no, it doesn't say, it's not the amount, it just depends how big the attachments are. So I then have to go right back down to kind of like a year or so ago and then just take out a chunk that look like they've got a few attachments.
Do you feel that you have to respond to them straight away? I do. That's the nature of emails. Whenever I send someone an email, if I haven't had a response in about 5 minutes, I start to...
yeah, if they're personal.
Get the hump. No, just generally.
Really?
Like if somebody waits a day to send an email, like a response of an email back, I'm like, where are they?
Have they gone? What's the matter?
34% of us said they feel stressed by the volume of emails and the need to reply quickly. Because if you've got a letter, an actual letter, you remember receiving letters, don't you?
No.
No one does. When was the last time you got an envelope that actually had handwriting on it? That didn't have a window? Never. Unless it was an appointment from your doctor, or something like that. I mean, nobody ever writes envelopes anymore, do they? But you didn't feel the need to respond the second you got it. You would read it, and maybe in a week, 2 weeks' time, you'd write a response, right? But now, the pressure on is, because it gets delivered instantly, you must respond instantly.
I'm probably more inclined to respond now to letters that come in the post quicker than I do on email.
38% of workers, only 38% are relaxed enough to wait a day before replying. So, in other words, everybody in this country is actually just sitting down, reading and replying to emails all day long.
It does depend on the nature of the emails. Do you not think? You know, if it's directly attached to your work at the time, then you have to respond.
Well, only if it says the building is on fire would you have to respond at that second.
But in radio, for example, when you're getting guests up for different shows, if people are offering you guests, which happens a lot in radio, get a lot of press releases and
Hey, when are we going to have a guest?
Would you like a guest?
No.
Who'd you like? I can arrange that for you straight away. I've got a good author for next week. Anyway, when that sort of stuff comes through, you have to, an air of politeness, and, you must respond to that. Because otherwise you're seen as rude, you won't get offered guests again, and that's... part of the way it works.
But it's kind of it's an obsession to respond right now.
Well, partly because you lose guests and you lose contacts.
I mean, even if somebody had left you a message on your answer phone, you wouldn't feel the need to respond instantly. Whereas this, if you get an email from somebody or you send one, there is this. It's almost like a pregnant pause. If you don't get a response or make a response straight away, it's unfinished business.
But I think because we're also in contact these days, I mean, people with BlackBerries, with your mobile, they're really, I think for people in work, there's no excuse for someone not to reply to them straight away.
I thought BlackBerries were for supermodels to throw at their staff.
But I think we all expect a response, because it's not that difficult to make one, is it? Although I agree it is very stressful when you have to constantly keep ringing back and emailing and being in permanent contact with people.
Some psychologists said that workers should set aside a few dedicated time. No, don't be looking at them all the time, constantly. Just say, I'll look at them at 1 o'clock and maybe at 4 o'clock, and that's it.
That's a good idea.
Because that will
take off a lot of
actually
pressure.
cut a lot of stress. Yeah.
Some offices have banned the use of internal email to encourage people to actually talk to each other.
But you see, often what happens is, if your building is divided a bit, then people will then say to you, "Did you not get my email?" You know, they'll ring on your extension number. "Did you get my email?" "Oh no, sorry."
Well, that's another thing. You send someone an email, and because you don't know it's actually got there, if you don't get an immediate response, you feel the need to call them to see if they got the. It's just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas if you'd made the call in the first place, you could have avoided the whole thing.
Nobody's actually achieving anything anymore. We're just chasing our tails, sending each other notes about.
How did we survive before we had email?
Well, perfectly well, apparently.
But don't you find it extraordinary? To have people at our fingertips all the time, and to have never had that before. You know, you'd go out and about, and if you needed to contact someone, you'd have to find a public phone box.
Yeah, that's right. And emails are, I'd say 99% are a complete waste of time, in much the same way that 99% of conversations on mobile phones are a complete waste of time.
Oh, yeah. I'm on my way, I'm on the bus, and here I'm here. You know, before, you would meet at a particular meeting place, people would have to be on time. You'd, have to go along with what your arrangements were. And I think it makes people have a lot more excuses for being late for things, for cancelling. You know, you always are so busy, aren't you?
So it's a great step forward in communications technology. It's actually a giant leap backwards for our well-being.
Yeah, in a way it is. And what I think is a shame is a lot of children now, when I look back, when I was younger, we all used to write letters to each other. And I used to have...
thank you letters.
No, I mean to my friends when we were at university and things, we'd all write to one another, and if people had gone away or on holiday, people would send a lot more postcards and just keep in contact, and now I don't think that happens at all. I bet not many people still write love letters and things to one another now, do you think? All the romantic things, you know.
Yeah. Letters. I think the only letters I can ever remember writing were under pain of punishment from my parents to my auntie, who'd sent us a tenner in the post for my birthday, something like that. You always had to say thank you, and you always had to fill up the page, which was the worst thing. Even those tiny pages, which were like an A4 sheet folded in half, even one of those seemed to go on.
Did you write in really big letters?
Yeah. I mean, after you said thank you, Auntie, for the nice money you sent me, it was really lovely. Then what do you write?
It is always very formulaic, isn't it? Thank you very much for the present.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy this, or I have done this with it for my birthday. It's a very strange thing. And you wouldn't not write that if you wrote a normal letter to somebody at all, would you?
Well...
With that kind of...
Yeah, in as much as I'd never write a normal letter to someone.
Ever?
I can't imagine doing that now. I can't remember ever having done it.
Really?
Well, who does?
Did you not used to write letters when you were a boy?
Certainly not.
Did you not?
Letters?
I bet you did. Everyone used to keep piles of letters. It was like having diaries, wasn't it? Letters.
If you're in a costume drama, perhaps.
I don't live my life as a costume drama.
Did you use the same bow to tie your letters that you stuck in the hair of your dog?
No, I just used the wax seal.
Right. Here's one in Liverpool. Hello, Colin.
Hello, Nick.
Colin.
I just thought I'd lend you my support, although it might not fit.
Good man.
So, what's your thing about keyboards? What's this problem you've got?
Eh?
You seem to have a problem about typing on keyboards.
Just typing?
Why? Typing's superb.
In what sense?
In the sense that you can type stuff really
Type
fast,
stuff with it,
and
yeah.
you can talk to people at the same time. You've got to...
No, it's not talking. See, there's where we differ. It's not talking, it's typing.
No,
Big
but
difference.
the thing is, you can type and do your work, and you can talk on like one of these voice chat things on a mic at separate times. You can be doing two things at once. This is where typing comes in handy.
Right.
I think I've confused you, haven't I?
No, well, I know what you mean, but you're sitting there and you're conversing with people on your MSN or whatever it might be. It's typing.
No, I voice chat. I'm a blind guy. I do typing for the stuff I need to type, and I voice chat the rest of the stuff. But you typing is handy. If you'd have to have two mics there, and you'd be speaking into two of them to do the...
Right. Is going out and actually meeting people out of the question?
Hey, I've met people doing that.
Okay.
Really, I have. Trust me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Colin. I got to go, mate. All right.
Okay.
New news is coming up. All of it bad, I bet. There is, no one. Huh? Southgate. Hello, Jane.
Well, I don't know if the young lady told you, but I got through to you 6 times and only heard the two of you talking. And I thought, as I'm one of the oldest inhabitants, I shall be 94 in a couple of weeks. I wanted a request. Have you ever heard of klezmer music?
Have I ever heard of what?
Klezmer. Klesmer. It's Russian jazz.
Is it like this?
No, it's klezmer music. It's peasant Russian and jazz.
Oh,
and they had a concert 2 weeks ago or a week ago in Regent's Park, and they won awards for this music. Have you never heard it? It would make all your oldies get up and dance no matter what time of day. You've never heard... Is it not possible for you to contact somewhere or other? Klezmer. You've never heard of it?
Russian folk
music and jazz.
It sounds terrible.
It's not. You wouldn't be able to sit still, I guarantee.
I'd be running, yeah.
Well, would you try?
What, to get some klezmer music on?
Find out, yes, please.
I'll definitely give it a go, Jane.
Okay, thank you.
And they allowed this to be played in one of the Queen's Parks, eh?
It was in Regent's Park last week. There was a concert, yes, and I think the winner of this contest was there. I bet you couldn't sit still if you heard it.
No, I'd be running screaming for the exits.
No, you wouldn't. You'd get up and dance. Truthfully.
Right.
Try, please.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jane.
Bye.
So have we got any of that plasma music? Well, that killed a lot of good time. She's right, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Here, Carol is appearing on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I know a lot about lots of things.
Have you heard this thing about... did you read the story about Mastermind this week?
No.
No, you've been on holiday. When you're on holiday, do you watch the news, read the papers,
Not
anything? You
overly.
just completely drop
No.
it? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There was a time when the genealogy of European royalty, Byzantine art, and the history of Wales from AD 400 to 1100 were among the specialist subjects on Mastermind. Now contestants appearing on what was once thought to be the most rigorous quiz on British television are not choosing such subjects anymore. Did you hear what one was just recently? It's
No.
absolutely shocking.
No.
There was this kids' version of Mastermind a little while ago, and there were 3 children, 4, and the children chose things like the films of Harry Potter or the Mr. Men. Basically, it was all watching television. All of their subjects were watching television, apart from one child who chose something like the history of the War of the Roses, or the Plantagenets, or something just mind-boggling complicated and difficult to remember, and won.
Good grief.
I was outraged that they allowed these kids whose specialist subject was basically watching television.
But you can do degrees in it these days,
Well,
can't
yeah.
you?
Media studies, it's called. To compete on a level playing field with someone who actually was a giant brain and had gone to a library and had, sifted through actual books. You remember books, don't you?
Yeah, I love books.
Well, this, on a recent programme, Mondays, I think, one of the contestants, Stacey, sat down in the programme's iconic black chair and announced that her specialist subject was the life and career of Jennifer Aniston. Whose career is appearing in Friends, and her life consists of marrying Brad Pitt. That's it. Jennifer Aniston. How embarrassing. I wouldn't show up if that was my specialist subject.
Oh, dear. What would your specialist subject be?
Well, I wouldn't have one. I don't know a lot about anything. Unlike Carol,
I know a lot about lots of things.
I know very little about very little. So I wouldn't have the nerve to go on there in the first place.
I'd have to do little yappy dogs, probably.
Nick Seaton, the chairman of the Campaign for Real Education, said, to choose Jennifer Aniston as a specialist subject seems to be lowering the tone of the quiz. John Kelly, the programme's producer, said, basically, oh no, it's not. How you could, in all seriousness, defend that is just rather silly, really. It's got John Humphreys doing it now, who's not a patch on Magnus, am I right?
Oh, I know. I loved it when Magnus did it.
In much the same way as I loved it when Bambo was doing University Challenge. Because then, even though you couldn't answer a single question in the whole programme, and wondered really how these people could retain all of this information. How can people be that smart? Even if you didn't know any of the questions, it was still nice spending time in the company of Bamber Gascoigne, because it seemed like a thoroughly good egg, right?
Yeah.
You'd want to have tea and crumpets in his dorm, or whatever they call it. The present incumbent, on the other hand, there I am running and screaming again. Here's Catford. Hello, Trixie.
Hello.
Hey, my dear.
you?
All right.
Are you sure you're all right?
I suppose so.
Yeah. Don't worry about calls today. You'll be fine next week. I think you should do some taking lots of calls to air. What about that?
Right. Okay.
That's
They better start coming in, because from Monday to Thursday, I'm doing 2 shows a day. I'll be on the air for 7 hours a day, ending at 1 o'clock in the morning with the difficult show.
Well, don't do lists and try and take more.
Don't do lists. Why not?
Well, you know, because you get bogged down in them. I mean, you can do a little list at the end, for example.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, you can. Just a little one. Anyway, back to the show. I've just been trying to make a king-size bed. And it's difficult when you're trying to make a king-size bed with a duvet and everything. And the cat has been really getting in the way. I mean, she's the one that sleeps on it too. And she will not lift a paw to help me. What can I do?
You let your cat sleep on your bed?
Not on the bed itself. She has a nice large cushion at the end of the bed.
What, she restricts herself to the cushion? She doesn't stray off the cushion?
No, there's also a piece of sheet of blanket that goes along the end of the bed. And she's allowed to stretch out on that if it's bad weather.
Well, because my cat at home would end up sleeping on my face.
No, she doesn't do that. No, I live in a cupboard of a flat, and in the winter time, and when it's pouring with rain outside, she's comfortable on her cushion. She'll go in the other room occasionally and sleep with a cushion there, but since the weather's been really awful, she's taken to sleeping in here and stretching out on the bed on top of.
Right? Doesn't she wake you up with a constant moving and
No, she doesn't.
meowing and
No, not at all.
snoring?
No, I'm the one that wakes her up.
Right.
Oh, she'll wake me up at about 6 in the morning with a.
How can cats sleep so long? By the way, I mean, how can they sleep so long?
Well, I don't know.
How can a successful species spend all of its time asleep?
But
Because there's so many of them.
When it expends energy, it expends a lot of it properly. There are a lot of feathers in that garden, that back garden.
Well, yeah, but that's not much of a stretch for a cat, though, killing a bird, is it?
Well, I don't think she actually kills any birds. I think they just tease her, basically. But she does climb the trees out there, and there are mice or rats here, and so it's good for her to stay alert. She wanders off. I hear this great thud from the bed because it's a divan bed, so it's nice and high, and I hear this thud in the middle of the night, and she's gone off to.
Yeah, I think you need to draw a line here, Trixie. Don't let the cat sleep on your bed. Have it sleep, outside.
Outside?
Or in the kitchen or something.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, if she wants to sleep in the kitchen, that's fine. I mean, I put cushions around. What I do, I put cushions around when I first came here to see the places where she would like to settle down, and it's worked quite well.
I think you need to start laying down the law. The cat's taking over.
Should I have an overnight guest? Then the cat is relegated to the other room. You see.
Overnight guest, eh?
Oh well, not very often.
And I bet in a huff she goes and leaves you a present in the corner.
No, she never does that. Not at all. In fact, she's a house cat and an outdoor cat. She will not go outside in the garden. She'll wait until she comes inside to use her litter.
Well, that's weird. She won't go out.
She'll go outside, but she'll come back in to do her business.
That is bizarre.
It's not bizarre.
Well, it is.
No, it's just the way she is. And as for dog ice creams, it's a brilliant idea. But somebody in Catford actually does that for free on very, very hot summer days. An ice cream man comes along, and there's a dog that's always sort of panting on the road, and they make an ice cream cone and they feed it to the dog all for free. Isn't that nice?
Well, killing it slowly with ice cream, yeah.
Cholesterol, my dear.
Yeah, I'm fully behind that. As long as they're horrible, yappy dogs, yes, they can carry straight on.
Right, now you remember, give the number lots of times this week coming up, all right?
No, I don't like doing that.
I know you don't like doing that, and I know you don't like American accents, so I've changed.
No, I don't mind American accents, but on Americans.
Well, I do such convincing.
No, you don't.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, no, you don't.
I was put up for a job by an American for because he said I'm the only person he knows that can do a convincing American accent.
Trixie, believe me, you can't.
It actually happened. Sorry.
Well, I don't care. I've heard your American accent.
Oh,
it's
no, that's
rubbish.
A fake one. Don't be silly. I'm sending myself up there. Don't worry.
Right, well, don't do that. I'll do it for you.
I promise
okay.
I won't do it. I promise.
Okay.
All right, but anyway, I'm looking forward to the shows next week.
Oh, well, that makes one of us.
Oh, great.
Thanks, Trixie.
Bye.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da. Yeah, I'm doing 7 hours on the air a day.
Rock and roll!
On the week of my birthday, darling.
On DH.
Come on, we're running late!
Robert from the Ronda.
Hello, darling.
Hey, how are you?
So how old are you going to be, 60?
Yeah, something like that.
You look done. You look a day over 75.
Thanks very much.
Look like Joan Collins. Can I... Joan Collins in my mind, but I'm not referring to her. You know you watch, like, Richard and Judy or some awful chat show?
Yeah.
And they'll have an actress, maybe, or a TV presenter from the past, but mature. They always say to him, without a hint of irony, you look wonderful. when anybody watching will realise, no, they don't.
Well, they don't, because the last time you saw them, it was 20 years ago, when they were young and beautiful. It's their duty to be beautiful.
Indeed. Because they wouldn't just go away.
Well, that's the other bad thing about being famous, is you can never grow old. Because then your paper will be, or your picture will be in the newspapers, and they'll highlight your dimpled thighs,
Yeah.
your sagging jowls, or your lack of hair, or your preponderance of hair, or, they'll just pick whatever has gone wrong with you, as something goes wrong with all of us as we get older, and point and laugh.
But hey, it's good publicity for the new book.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Stop watching daytime,
Have you seen that,
No.
You know what I'm talking about? That awful new thing on ITV. Anthony Cotton.
Yeah, whoever that is. He's some soap actor, right?
Yeah.
It seems to be the law that you have to be over-the-top camp to get on TV these days.
Yeah, I'm sure this country's got a huge tradition of creating camp comedians, whether you have some awful actor who hasn't got any entertaining thing in his body. Yeah, I think he was in, ironically, he's been in Coronation Street and Queer as Folk, two of the gayest programs ever invented.
Yeah, why? So, who are the audience for afternoon programs? Is pensioners, right? Because the adverts that are inside them are all aimed at pensioners. Would you like to release equity in your home? Here's a lift that'll get you up the stairs. All of that stuff. It's either pensioners or people who have fallen at work and are considering suing.
Sure.
So, and old dears love a bit of camp.
No.
They do. Well, I was talking about this the other day. It's bizarrely, they don't actually like gay people, but they like camp because they don't associate one with the other. Where they're just funny men.
Unmarried men.
Yeah.
Asexual.
That's right.
Yeah, well, Paul, they've got him up against Richard and Judy, so wait till... I'm sounding like I really care, I don't, but...
Well, no, it's the giant soap of television. They're trying everything now. Well, they're not trying everything. They're trying to copy what's on the other side exactly, which is why apparently this Anthony Cotton show is exactly the same, minus the dog and the talent of Lily Savage. I can never remember what the guy's real name is. What's his real name?
Paul O'Grady.
Paul O'Grady. Yeah.
Some of the best news I heard this week in TV land was that ITV have decided to go back to basics with their news. No more standing up, it's now behind the desk, normal presentation.
Well, who have they got presenting it now? Because Trevor McDonald doesn't do it anymore, and I could never really understand the appeal of Trevor McDonald. I just thought that he's been doing it for so long, and he's, whisper it, black, so it's illegal to criticise him in any way. We have to treat him like he's the Queen Mother. We have to dance around him so respectfully. And I could never understand why he was perceived as being irreplaceable. I never thought he was actually any good.
Oh, he replaced Alistair Burnett. I was reading this up the other day. Alistair Stewart lost out to Trevor McDonald. That's why Alistair Stewart went to London Tonight. He's back with the Virgins presenting on ITV.
Right.
That's the history of ITV News, which is a wonderful organisation, by the way.
I'm sure. They got the chap who's doing it now, or the last time I saw it was doing it now. It sort of looks like an old-style TV news anchor. What's his name?
The tall guy.
Yeah.
Mark Austin.
That sounds right. Mark Austin, the $6 million man. He's actually really good. There's something about him that you think, oh yeah, I believe everything that this bloke says. In much the same way as the guy who used to present the BBC News, who now does Sunday mornings. Sort of shunted him off onto
Andrew Marr.
Peter Sissons, yeah. You believed everything that he said too. And I felt that while he was saying it, even if it was dreadful, that everything was going to be all right.
The only thing to watch with Mark Austin, though, is he's got a bad catchphrase at the end.
What is it?
He says, goodbye and thank you for watching. Always the same thing.
The handle like they have in America.
Because they always have to think of a catchphrase, because I can't remember now what...
Well, that's not a catchphrase.
Well...
Goodbye and thanks for watching.
And thanks for watching.
Well, that's
because
not a catchphrase.
What was the other chap's?
MacDonald?
Yeah, what was his one at the end?
Goodbye.
But there was a line as well that he always used. And so Mark had to come up with a line to use as well.
Mark who?
Austin.
Oh, the TV news guy. I thought you were
Yeah.
talking about the camp guy who's got the chat show.
No, the news anchors.
Goodbye and thanks for watching.
Thanks
The
for
man at the end of the news says
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
It's a bit presumptuous, isn't it? I haven't watched. I just turned you on because I'm going to watch the programme that's on after you. I just turned it on for the weather.
Yeah.
Well, in America, they'll have, on CBS, they'll have Dan Rather. I've been Dan Rather reporting to you from blah, blah, and he's just sitting down at the desk. So we're going to have the American line again as a journalism student for the future.
Good night and good luck. That was Vic Morrow, wasn't it?
Anyway, why I called.
Yes.
I've ended university in Swansea, so I'm in that period of the summer where there's nothing to do and it's really bored.
Yeah, and for the rest of your life, there'll probably be nothing to do, right?
Well,
You're going to be one of those neats.
I go back to university in September, so...
Do you?
Yeah.
What for?
I'm going to journalism school.
Journalism school?
Yay!
Is that actually worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah, I'm going to the best in the country.
But is it one of those waste of times where you would have actually got on better if you'd just gone and helped out in a newspaper and done the job rather than studying to do the job?
No.
Yes.
I've already got... talking about ITV, they've already helped me, put it that way. So I'm doing okay before I've even started. But it's what you have to do now if you want to get into journalism. You have to go into one of these diploma places.
But correct me if I'm wrong, though. There is no such thing as journalism anymore. All it is just printing verbatim what the PR company has sent you about what's gone on in the X Factor this week.
Well, that's print journalism. I'm going to broadcast journalism.
Right.
So, yes, probably true. And then the TV report what the newspapers report. The report what the PR people report. So it's all one big chain.
You'll be going up to... So is it TV or radio?
No, it'll be both.
Right, you'll be going up to people's homes who have been flooded with sewage and asking them how they feel.
Yeah. I've always wondered that about TV news. They'll have a report on obesity, say. All of a sudden they've got this woman in a house. She's fat. I mean, do they have a list of these people? Fat people. Call this woman up and go and talk to her about her weight.
All of those reports on obesity, by the way, they always have this more or less the same thing. A lot of shots in the high street of gigantically fat people waddling by, but shot from the neck down.
Yes.
Now, those people can recognise themselves on TV. Wouldn't that be awful if a story of morbid obesity had you as the pictorial example?
Funny, though.
Well,
yeah. They can't sue, because it's not their face, so...
I suppose,
nothing they can do about it. So I'll be starting there in September, so I'm just filling the gap now, doing nothing, really.
I bet people take a horrified step back when you tell them what you're going to do, because only estate agents are considered to be worse than journalists.
Well, in my career, in my university life, I wanted to be a lawyer or a journalist, so...
Well, lawyers slightly better, because lawyers can... it's where do you turn when you need help? So a lawyer will do that for you, but journalists not so very much. Plus, you learn a gigantic amount more as a lawyer than a journalist.
Yeah, but you also have a terrible quality of life.
As a lawyer?
Yeah, of course. You work... Some firms, you can work 7 in the morning till half 11 at night.
Right.
That's fine. And die young. Yay.
But rich.
Well, with a smile on your face.
You have a great coffin, yeah.
That's it.
So what are you going to do for the summer? Such as it is?
At the moment, I got really bored and decided to detox. So,
detox?
Yeah. I found a DVD in my local library, so I thought, well, I'll give a go at this. It's really expensive, buying all this food. Fresh food.
Well, like what?
Can't remember what they're called. Vegetables and fruits and fish.
Oh, yeah. I remember fruit, yeah. Fruit
and
fish. Well, that's not what I would call detox. Well, detox from what? What, you're giving up the heroin and the crack?
Well, you don't drink... Well, the idea is that, in my one, it's a 10-day detox. So you stop eating completely for a day, you drink a hell of a lot of warm water and lemon and green tea.
That sounds like it'd be really bad for you.
And then you start introducing, apparently, the things the body needs. So the vitamins and the minerals. So you eat a lot of fruit and... what did I have tonight? I had a stuffed pepper.
And what side dishes did you enjoy with the stuffed pepper?
No, there's no side dish with it. I did make a soup. I had a vegetable soup, which was disgusting.
And how long have you been on this?
Since Monday. I finish on Thursday.
And how do you feel?
I feel great. I have lost weight. my stomach.
Yeah, but be honest, when you wake up in the morning, how do you feel?
Okay.
The same.
No, I sleep better, but as I don't drink coffee or anything, so I haven't got that effect.
Because I changed all of this. I stopped drinking coffee, I stopped doing dairy, I stopped drinking booze, and I still felt like crap when I woke up in the morning. What's the point of that?
Yeah, but you're miserable.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Because I got a cheerful outlook on life.
Do you?
Yeah, Lord Deeds died.
Yes. that makes you happy.
Anyway, do you want to close your show? I got to do something, mate.
All right, cheers, mate. Ta-ta.
Doodles.
Yeah, he'll be taking his syrup of figs, I would think.
I shouldn't think he'll need it after a stuffed pepper.
I bet he hasn't had a happy morning sit-down all week.
Oh, stop it. It's been a rundown. Oh. I didn't mean to say that.
But you did.
I did.
You took a beautiful moment and you took it right down literally into the gutter, Lucy.
Sorry.
Awful thing for you to have said. Do we want to take one more? Have we got time?
Yeah, go for it.
Shepherd's Bush. Hello, Fred.
Nick Abbott.
Fred.
10 out of 10. Gold star. Well done.
I'll award myself an A. I only got 37%, but it's an A in my book. A sailor nicknamed Captain Calamity was urged to find a new hobby yesterday after costing lifeboat crews £25,000 for a string of rescues. You read about this?
No.
Glenn Crawley, 51, has capsized his catamaran dozens of times, prompting costly rescue missions for the Royal National Lifeboat Institution. Oh, while I think about it, and it doesn't have anything to do with this, but we were talking about it, you left your place and came back a week later. Was it completely ankle-deep in mouse urine?
No. It wasn't.
But I thought you had mouse urine problems.
Well...
They having no bladder control. You've got giant mouse problems, right?
No, it's not that bad. I've seen
Peeing
two.
all over the place.
Two once.
It must stink over at your place.
It doesn't, I can assure you. It's as fresh as a daisy. I'm constantly cleaning it, that's why.
But if you see two, they're just foraging for the giant extended family that's hiding behind... I'm serious.
I know, that's what worries me.
There's probably like a ton of them in the ceiling cavity, and they're busy reproducing, and when the weight gets enough, they'll burst through the ceiling and fall on your face as you're sleeping. There's something to look forward to.
Thanks.
Anyway, back to this bloke with his boat. The retired electrician and engineer from Newquay in Cornwall began sailing his boat in 2003 and was forced to call emergency crews 3 times in the first year alone. Since then, RNLI teams have been called out for Mr. Crawley on a further 9 occasions, including a costing £2,200 a time when you call out the National Lifeboat Institute, Royal National Lifeboat Institute, is that right?
Yeah, just say RNLI.
Yeah. Local fishermen have also plucked him from the water several times. Earlier this year, he was rescued 4 times in 4 hours. He said, "I'm very comfortable in the water. That's where I belong. I'm a waterman." Yeah, quite. Not a boatman, a waterman.
On 97.